That sucks.
That was your guy.
Probably he didn't say something they like. They probably gave him some advice and they're like, he sucks. And they did it their way, of course.
See how we did, Todd, the black and white cup.
You ain't gonna look at it anyway.
That's all right. I see no color.
Oh, here you go. All lives matter, right,
that's your
Todd?
problem,
Right.
right
All
there.
lives matter.
Oh!
Oh my god. This show, I'm telling y'all, do y'all understand what it's going
Wait, we live right now?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
You can't, they can't see you. See,
But can
they
they hear me
you.
though?
Yeah,
Okay.
It almost becomes like an issue. I don't want to say an issue, but like, if I almost get offended if she get the door before I get the door. I'm like, for real?
Sometimes she probably be doing it just to see, like, if you on top
Don't
of
you
your
better
bed.
not get that door.
Let's see on top of this thing, right?
To see, like, can you run real fast and get it? See if you're paying attention.
Yeah, I believe that in a lot of cases, let's start with the premise that the woman is a good, quote unquote, good black woman, whatever that means. I don't necessarily know that women, particularly black women, know how to accept a black man that
It's chivalrous.
not only chivalrous but wants to be a gentleman without making him feel like a clown.
You know, I think it's a balance act between a strong black man and one who is able to cater to, like, that softer side with the emotions.
Well, I don't really have a softer side. Like,
They
really.
open up doors and stuff. That
Maybe
But that's-
the softer side.
That show gentlemanly.
He tries to pretend like he doesn't because he watched all these things in the 90s. He's supposed to be tough and shoot people and kick people in the face once you actually hit them and they go down. Now it's a chance to stop them.
No, Todd.
Maze is a true story of life imitating art.
Ooh.
What do you mean, life imitating art?
Art, there's either life imitates art or art imitates life.
Ooh.
So there's some movies
Todd.
that are based off of things that actually happened.
I could agree with that though. And like
Like
tell
you
you,
were saying that you said that though that people were influenced by.
no, I agree. I mean, I feel like I have a soundtrack playing in my head almost to every move that I make.
But it's mostly like
There's a Jay-Z song for
like
every
boss
movie.
songs.
It is.
It ain't like,
It is. No, I don't have like no
Like-
nights like this. I wish. No, I don't do that. I do.
He got the Pirates of Pizzazz.
But I do, honestly, I do have a soundtrack that plays in my head, and I do feel like a lot of I think there's a good and a bad of that. And I do think that, right, there was always the desire to never be, like, once I got out of being kind of like I want to say a black outcast, but kind of like in that nerdy space, you know, like where I was trying to
Once you
figure
got
out.
out of Family Ties.
Well, I mean, seriously, when I then got out of that space and was like, oh, you know, I can fight. I can, you know, I can hold my own in this world, and all of those things that were scary or that I thought was scary or that I thought my parents were protecting me from. Like after I got hit in the mouth the first time, literally, right? And you survive and you like, man, and then you like, and then don't get the best of it, right? And then, I mean, I think that, but I also think that same soundtrack plays in my head when I, for instance, was under assault, like political assault, right? Like that same art imitating life is like why I ain't never bowing down to do. Like when everybody else in my estimation would have folded or been like, damn, Speaker and them got me in, blah blah blah, and they take your income and everybody else lays down. I feel like that's the time when I was like, man, that same soundtrack started playing in my head. Like I'm like Jay on the like water to a well, no matter, you know what I'm saying? All of those different things start to, and when you really think about it, a lot of the Jay-Z stuff is just reinterpretations of the 48 Laws of Power, Machiavelli, all of those different things.
I can't think about it because I know like 2 Jay-Z songs.
Just 2?
No, but
I may only know 1. I'm pushing myself.
Do y'all know Big Pimpin'?
No,
Big Pimpin'.
I know. Is it Empire State? No, I know 2. I think Empire State's one, right? The one with Alicia Keys.
New York.
Whatever.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's bubblegum Jay-Z.
I don't care. I like it.
I actually like it too. I actually like both versions. Have you heard the one where they drop the rap out of it and they just play her? I like that one too. I mean, it's a really nice when she just sings it to like a real slow
that piano, little drag.
Like I like a lot of acapella. But anyway, I feel like that same. I do feel like it, right? So I do feel like now that I look back in college, like a lot of the things, like my man said, is on here right now, and it's like literally, I'm carrying a pistol in college, like literally prepared to use it, but so drunk that I dropped it. Right?
Ooh,
now,
that's good that you dropped it, right?
But I dropped it in front of a police officer.
And it's not a revolver, right?
It was a revolver.
You had a revolver?
Yeah.
I know people had revolvers in the last 12 years.
Hey man, the revolver is the most reliable.
Come on.
No. But I
like,
thought the modern thing was.
That wasn't mine. Was like, man, make sure that bad boy don't jam. If you shoot, shoot.
The man is functional.
Yeah. So and it's but I think of how many times that I was in a scenario that could have ended my whole career on some being tough shit.
You was covered by the blood, though.
Lord have mercy. I promise you, and this is my last story, then we'll go. We was in, so I wanted to be down, and so when I got involved in Altgeld Gardens. So
I've been to Altgeld Gardens once.
So I used to drive
I drove through just because
every Friday we would drive to Altgeld, and we would be there for everything that we were supposed to be there for, it facing the east, the whole thing, right? I'm from Bolingbrook, and the police come. Everybody just, I got my car. It's like after service. I got my car. I got the, I'm the only person with a car. I got the trunk up. I got sounds. I got my fresh gear on. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing my thing. I got my breakaway suit on. Cops come. Everybody breaks. Dude takes and throws a bag, right? I'm so naive to the whole thing. The police pull up. Everybody gone. I'm standing there. I can't close my car up. I can't do nothing. So the police are like, and I got fresh clothes. I'm, what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm showing out. Cop walks up. Oh, we got the candy man here. Let me see your ID, right? So opens up now I'm from Bolingbrook. I got a car. I got sound, but I paid for it. All of it I paid for working at McDonald's. Right. But obviously you could still flip the life, right? In the whole thing, nobody cared about. Plus we was doing nothing. Anyway, so he sees my driver's license and he like, what the hell are you doing here from Bolingbrook in this neighborhood? Now, I'm going to be honest. I knew, but I didn't know. Right? Like, I knew where I was, but I really didn't know where I was. Because you come with your friend is his cousins. Y'all know everybody, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. The cop kicks this bag, right? They balled up a paper bag, and it was before I was up on the game like that. In the paper bag, so the cop kicks the bag, takes he like, man, if you don't get your ass up out of here and go home, and get up out of here with your Bolingbrook ass. I mean, he started talking crazy, the whole thing. Your Bolingbrook ass, fix your hat. Da-da-da-da, right? He just acting a fool. So I pull off, drive around the corner. I come back. Everybody come back. Yeah. I come back. Everybody come back. And they like, the first thing dude come back is he goes and he picks up that bag. And in that bag that the cop kicked was all his work for the day. Right? And that cop kicked the bag right by my foot. And I was thinking, and I promise you that was the last time I went back. Because I was like, no, literally in 6 weeks I was going to college. And I was like, oh, damn. Right? And dude picked up, man, he was like, you got lucky, man. You was going to be in the county. I was like, the county? No, I wasn't. Come out here.
Not the county.
Man, shit. All right. All right, I'm through telling y'all.
Sonia like, y'all need to come on and start the show.
We did. Not for the people out here. Looking at this generation, feeling hopeless. My eyes open. Ain't no hocus pocus. They will all know us. But you woke us. Someday Moses. Don't let no one put you down. Let me see you smile. It's okay to be black. Shine, shine, you're beautiful inside. Hey, rise up, rise up. Don't you know you can? Wake up, Chicago. Wake up, world. This is the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd Stroger. Hey, Todd, rocking with us. You know I got my girl, Ruthie Mo, kicking it off early in the morning, y'all. We was in here. See, I be telling y'all all the business, man. Todd said I was imitating art. Right? What's up with that, Todd? I feel like that was some early morning shade. Then I thought about it. And you know what?
No, you thought you were Doughboy or one of those cats. No, you didn't think you were Doughboy.
Doughboy?
No, you thought you were the kid.
No, go ahead.
Lawrence Fishburne's son.
I didn't want to be Trey.
Why not?
I was actually Trey, but I didn't want to be Trey. I wanted to be Doughboy, right? Thank God, though, based on all of that, I'm glad I wasn't Doughboy and wound up to be Trey. In case y'all don't know what we talking about like our backgrounds, what happened. Todd said we was talking about being tough and things that were happening back in the day. And, man, I'm going to tell y'all what. I say that in my mind, I have a soundtrack playing in my head for almost every move that I make. And so it was just an interesting conversation. Hey, y'all might want to go back and check that conversation out if you're watching on YouTube Live or Facebook Live. You can always go back and check it out because this is What's in it for the Black People Media. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. We are broadcasting live on WBGX 1570 AM. Don't forget you can get us on YouTube Live as well as Facebook Live. And don't forget to download the TuneIn app. You can go to the Google Play Store or to the Apple Store, App Store, all of those things, and get it cracking. All right, Todd, how you feeling this morning?
Ruthie told me offline she used to run her dorm. She was the king of that dorm room. The queen.
Todd, you know I'm too low key for that.
I see. Ruthie was part of the country gang, right? She showed up like they came up. You know, Ruthie came up with the straw. And I'm not like, what? You gonna eat your cornbread?
Hey, I bet y'all end of the world. Y'all better get on my team if y'all want to grow some vegetables.
Hey, vegetables too, huh? My cousin said, he heard you on the vegetables. Now check this out. My cousin also said he wanted to send a message to Sonia, Ruthie, and Todd, maybe you too. He said that he finally found something about President Obama he liked.
Oh, what's that?
What is it?
His strand.
That Obama gas.
Obama. They said Obama got some gas running around these streets.
Wait, you know what gas is, Todd?
I just assumed it was like marijuana.
Todd, you assumed right, actually. Mm-hmm. Hey, so look, y'all. They said President Obama around here. Now, do you think President Obama curated his own strain?
He got a lot of time lately.
Hey, man, you know President Obama becoming a... Do you think... Let me ask a question. You know Snoop said, when I was talking to Snoop, I interviewed Snoop a couple years ago, he said he smoked in the White House. I was like, man, you think... He said, oh, no, he said, I had to do it. Said, y'all, you know I had to do it. Right? So Snoop smoked in the White House. You know, I asked... and then I asked I know some black people who went to U of I, ILL, who went to the White House. I was like, come on, dog. Like, for real, man, y'all wasn't out by the barbecue grill on the Saturday. Like, all the brothers was out here, like, straight up, dog. For real, we at the White House. We got this whole joint. Y'all got the barbecue grill going so you could disguise the smoke. They was like, no, we never did it. Because nobody wanted to be the dude who was in the paper as the black dude in the black White House who got caught smoking the gas.
It's what, schedule, what's it, 8?
It's scheduled. God. It is. Let me tell you what it is.
It's legal.
It's scheduled. It's Schedule 0 if you black in Chicago and Illinois. You got $0 coming. But you know what? I'm not going to even start that mess this early. This is the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Stroger, Miss Ruthie Moore. Ruthie, you was over there active and cracking this morning. How you feeling?
I had a cup of coffee. Is it Tuesday or Wednesday?
It's Wednesday.
Okay.
That's why we had to park on the other street.
That's how I feel.
Yeah,
we had to park on the other side of the street, so it's Wednesday, man.
Yeah, I noticed that immediately. I was like, something's going on here.
I didn't. It was Sonia came in and said, don't forget to move your car.
They back to enforcing these fines and stuff.
Beyond that, wait a minute. Here's my thing. Okay, well, they are enforcing the fines and fees, even though I don't feel like they cleaning the streets. Like, they might be cleaning side streets, but they ain't cleaning the street. I feel like they, like, put your car, move it so we can get the tickets, because everywhere I'm going now, the city is starting to get dirty. Like, I feel like it's, it's like the city is, I noticed on my way home yesterday that every exit now has graffiti, right? Like, remember how there was the campaign to take and I'm not talking about murals. I'm talking about straight up tags and graffiti all over the place. And I feel like we're on a slippery slope, right? And I feel like if we don't take care of everything that we're supposed to during this time, we could essentially lose our footing when we come back from COVID-19. I almost feel like Chicago will not be the world-class city. I think we're going to wake up, wipe our eyes, and realize that the world's greatest restaurant city is no longer. We're going to be looking at the boom of buildings going away. We're going to be looking at increased property taxes by $2 billion at a minimum. And I think we're seeing people already leaving Chicago, going back to the suburbs with this COVID, because while we thought everything was great, getting stacked and building up, people are saying, man, let me get out of the city and get to the suburbs where I can have my own lawn, spread out, do my thing. So I think we're going to be looking at the reconfiguration of Chicago at some point. And you saw the mayor is already started on the plan. She was like, let me start this plan commission 30-year plan in case in case a new administration come, I can have put my footprint down. I think she's already writing her exit plan. Look, y'all, this is the Maze Jackson Show. Oh, I forgot. No, I didn't. I got to say hi to the musical conductor of the Soul Plane before I take off. How you feeling this morning, Sonia? All right, well, I'm feeling good. Well, let's do this. Let's get this thing up to 60,000 feet. Let's take a quick message. Hey, y'all, also don't forget, Mike Love and the Dear Chicago Famous starting September 8th. We're going to be giving you details about that live broadcast as well. Hey, rise up.
How come we ain't never got no snacks on this plane?
You ain't, because this is post 9/11 planes, right? You don't get nothing, man. I remember you used to get on Southwest. I used to be like, have my peanuts ready.
Southwest. Oh, I remember when you get on, American and Delta. And,
Todd flew good. No, Todd is Todd. So Todd.
And they give you a meal.
Okay,
and then it became like you grab this bag before you go in.
Todd.
Things went down.
But Todd, in my estimation,
Todd, gold. That's what he's gonna say.
No, I think Todd was about as close to black royalty as black folks was getting.
I agree.
Right? Like,
you can get back that Todd. You want to be royalty?
No, he wanted.
Not really. I kind of like me.
Would you say that he was close to the Afrostocracy or royalty?
No, I don't think we had the Afrostocracy.
We didn't hang out with that group though.
No, Todd. Okay, so there's the Afrostocracy, which is like, to me, the Afrostocracy that you're referring to is the Afrostocracy that includes the socialites, right? Okay. We're part of all the little clubs, etc., etc., etc. Todd's, to me, royalty was like the power royalty, like not mugs. Like when John Stroger came, that mug had his own damn army, his own damn unit of government, his own damn way to make you rich. He had his own shit. So when he walked in the room, he like, man, he could sit at the table with the white boys and be like, even if they was racist, they was like, John, we defer to black issues to you, right? He was our seat at the table in the power sharing. You got to go back to poli-sci. Right? And so then when Harold Washington went away, right? Here was John Stroger, who was also a party guy, loyal. Like, it's like when they tried to fuck him, right? They tried to not let him get, was it finance or was it?
It was finance, yeah.
And he was like, nah, hell no. I've been doing my thing the way I'm supposed to do it all my damn life. I done followed the rules, and now y'all want to change? Hell no. I'm finna be the... And
the independent blacks they cheered it on when he didn't make it.
But again, right? See, it's like, because here's the thing: we don't understand power, right? And I think not only do we not understand power, I think we don't understand power, and we don't understand the divisions of how we use our power. Like, what I would love ultimately is this to be the platform to empower our elected officials, right? Where they would be smart enough to say, which in some cases they're already doing, we just don't reap the benefit. They say, man, you see they whooping our ass out here with this stuff, right? That's why you see the $2 million announcement of the, right? When you can tell when we hitting hard, because then they start trying to make moves. Right? But they don't know how to make power moves. They know how to make press moves. And the thing is, like, you don't leverage what we're doing to get a $2 million how to do business with the state. That's what the white boys tell you. That's the answer. No, you say we gonna leverage this, and we finna have freaking 50 press conferences of all the businesses that we got business with the state. Show me the damn list of all the people we got. Let's take a look at the projects. We're going to sit down and match vendors with the projects, and you're going to have me standing up here with somebody from my freaking ward who won or who did business with the state. But we get sold on, again, the white people put our strategy together, so they put your strategy together to keep you treading water, not to keep you moving forward.
Really, it's their strategy.
Bingo.
Yeah.
We should take it slow. Give me a new beginning. Oh. You are listening to the Mace Jackson Show. I'm your host, Mace Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd Stroger, Ruth, and more. Hey, listen to everybody on WBGX 1570 AM. Let me run through some more of these headlines real quick. The RNC continued yesterday. We're going to talk about that in detail because Trump pulled the ultimate pander on y'all. He had a live party. Like, he did a party live during the RNC. And here's what I'm going to say, because I know everybody was like, you know what, Todd, and I want, Todd.
I'm listening.
Okay, I want you to, I mean this with the utmost respect. As I listened to the pardon, you know what came to my mind?
What?
A dear friend of mine and Jim Edgar. That's what came to my mind. And I thought, and he remember this guy robbed a bank right here?
Yeah.
That got pardoned yesterday? And I think about he went from that to turning his life completely around, from leaving jail and getting a and then going back to work with prison. I mean, working in prison reform and all of those different things.
Uh-huh.
And I just thought about, like, do we make fun of his story too? Like, I just thought that was a really it was a really interesting story, and I think if you know the comparison I'm making, and I'm not gonna go all the way there, but I do think that they were very similar stories, and we just like Jim Edgar and his personality. But if you were to ask the people whose lives were impacted by this gentleman who got pardoned yesterday, I think it was just a real interesting.
Maze.
Yes.
I know Jim Edgar, and you, sir, I know Jim Edgar. And I'm talking about President Trump now.
I got you. I got you. But if the outcome was the same, right? Like, do we not like the package? Is the outcome, we just don't like the package. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. Let's go to, did you see the governor got slammed for, I think the governor is scared of people downstate, straight up. Right? Like, them cats came up north with them guns and pistols, and they was like, he started thinking about he was thinking, I ain't gonna say what I was gonna say. I had a great one back in Germany, but them white folks downstate was probably using some pretty colorful language, and he kind of...
That's their thing, being kind of like against the governor.
Okay, well, here's the thing.
It's strong.
It is strong downstate, but he told them that they could keep their restaurants open, just cut down on the number of people. So he was like, but up north, he told everybody, y'all got to shut down. He can't change the rules. He was like, it's science. It was science up here. Downstate, it was...
I get the idea that...
They can make it up as they go.
Once you pass I-80 going south, the density is not there.
The density... Okay, here's what I'm saying. 6 is 6. Stop it. 6 people in a restaurant is 6 people in a restaurant. Don't tell density. Beep. He was scared. He's scared. You don't want them riled up coming back up here. He admitted, well,
Man, Ruthie will tell you that she only knew 5 people, a pig, and a cow.
Hey, you know what? You gonna come up off of Pembroke in the rural areas down in Kankakee County. You know, I was kind of wondering though, if they're rolling back like restaurants and bars, why they still opening up the schools?
You know how that goes.
Okay, never mind.
Hey,
let's talk about it later.
Ruthie,
we see private schools falling by the wayside every second. Like,
I'm gonna tell you,
Ola just said they're not opening.
My son's school is not. I got you right here. I can do it right here. Yo, I don't know what happened, but I got you. It's adjusting because you're not on lock. So we're going to fix that. But hey, y'all, let me run through a couple more of those headlines very quickly. Here's this one. How about, did you see Governor Rauner registered in Florida to vote in Florida? He was like, bust all y'all and I'm taking my tax money with me.
Yeah, he doesn't want to pay income tax.
Especially with that fair tax coming along. Mm-hmm. All right. Did you see Pompeo did his speech from the Holy Land?
Las Vegas?
Israel.
Oh.
Yesterday he did his Republican speech from Israel. I don't think it was for the Jewish community. I think it was for the Christians. They were making a hard call to the Christians, right? Like, you know, they was, man, they used Jesus, God, Jesus, God, golly, Jesus.
I think there's a lot of people that don't realize that Jerusalem is home to all the major religions.
Yeah, I do think people don't realize that. Also, let me hit this one. Real quick. Did you see Lucas Giolito pitched a no-hitter yesterday?
Go Sox.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. Also, Paul Stewart out as the cannabis czar in the city of Chicago.
He must have tried to say something. Like, okay, that's enough of that.
Okay, so beep. Was that a black man down? There's Lori backing the bus
black
up
man
over.
Down.
Lori with the beep. Get that bus, run him over. Hey,
no, we gotta wait a week.
Oh, you gotta wait a week,
and then we'll see if there's some dirt thrown on.
Oh no, he'll right. So let me just say this. Y'all know how I feel. You know, me and Paul had a little history. Yeah. But here's how I feel. I feel like once they put I don't believe in bringing rope to a black hanging. Right? So, Madam Lori Lightfoot, do better this time. Regardless of what it is, we don't need to have it all splashed over the news, and we don't need the slow leak. So please, because we know like you like to hurt the black man and take him down. I know, woe is me. I heard you, Dolores Robinson. I'm going to get you too. Hey, y'all, this is the Maze Jackson Show. You know I read all of the comments, all of them, every day. All right, y'all, this is the Maze Jackson Show. When we come back, it's going to be time for the social media question of the day. But before we go, did you know that there's going to be a hip-hop auction? A hip-hop auction. They're going to auction off memorabilia from the Notorious Big, including that Notorious Big inspired crown that he did a week and a half before he died. He signed that crown for a photo shoot with Vibe magazine, as well as some signed love letters from Tupac to his high school sweetheart. Got me to thinking about, this is the first hip-hop auction. I was thinking, man, I would like to bid on something in a hip-hop auction. But then it got me thinking about value and what could black people put in the auction. Then it got me thinking about values and, like, really, what do black people have of value? When we come back, that's going to be the social media question. I don't like how y'all answered that. When we come back,
I had an idea, but I knew we were going to break.
Social media question of the day. What do black people have of value? Give us a call, 872-259-7474. I'm about to open up the lines. 872-259-7474. Social media question of the day. What do black people have of value? Okay.
Don't say too much, Todd. Somebody might break hand.
Oh, that wasn't going to be anything I had. What are you going to do, take my cat?
Monday through Friday, starting September 8th.
All right, you tell somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody it's going down. Not only will you hear us on air, but you'll be able to see us as well. And that's all going down September 8th from 3 to 6.
What's in it for the black people media? Make sure you check us out.
Chicago
famous. Today, world required first-hand knowledge of real international workers. As a successful international businessman, I have achieved many goals and made many business friends abroad. International business can rebuild the middle class by creating the infrastructure to support small businesses through economic development funds and international expansion. I'm Dr. Willie Wilson. Vote for me. Send me to Washington. God bless.
Paid for by Willie Wilson for Senate 2020.
That's a little intrusive if she doesn't have to physically report somewhere.
Well, I think her school's going to go the way of all schools in the end.
The hybrid model is
no, they're not hybrid now, but
back to remote.
Yeah, you know, once you get people together and then somebody catches it and they say, "Oh, well, 10 people have it," then they'll be all over.
At least right now it's still self-reporting versus somebody popping up on you at your house to do random fever checks.
Right. I don't know how she does it. But that's that's between her and her school. I've done my job. I paid the tuition this month.
They could have gave y'all a COVID waiver.
I wouldn't mind have some kind of scholarship, and I wouldn't feel guilty either.
You know who you should talk to?
No, I would feel guilty. Cool.
Wait, this ain't what I want. Wait. There we go.
Thank you for calling Call-In Studios hosted call screener line. Please enter your show number and press pound.
You can give me sexy talk. Tell me take a walk.
Thank you for calling Call-In Studios hosted call screener line. Enter your 6-digit PIN number.
Do your kids listen to the morning show, Todd?
To the morning show. So you kidding? Hans won't be up for another 6 hours or so. And then, if Claire didn't have school,
Maybe, possibly.
no, she'd be asleep too. But since she has school, she'll get up and she'll go, turn on the computer. I don't even think they even know what station this is now. Hans would have known the old station, but he wouldn't know this one, I'm pretty sure.
Got it.
If you think I'm playing you, you are listening to the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host Todd, Stroger, and my social media. You know what? You the master of the social, Ruthie. And can I tell y'all something? I think I just want to point out that while we are continually adding new shows, I don't know if y'all tuned in yesterday to check out the Bigs. But the Big Sports Call-In show, they did good stuff yesterday. Great show.
Oh yeah, I listened to them.
They were pretty knowledgeable about the sports. They, you know what I'm saying? Like they went through the whole the All-Star team for Chicago All-Star team. They put up some decent numbers yesterday too. First show 1,700 views. That's up from couple hundred, maybe 200, 300. I'm telling you.
My parents listened.
Huh? Did they?
They, logged in and listened. I was just wow.
I'm telling y'all, there's a space for black sports, and we're gonna do our fantasy football. We're gonna do a fantasy football special, so we hope you all will tune in. Check out the Bigs. You can catch them on Tuesdays and Thursdays, right? Tuesdays and Thursdays from 1 to 3. The bigs make me nervous. Then we got Herb and 2. You know what I'm saying? What I said. You know, they good too. I'm gonna tell you. Tucson is now also our creative director right now. 2, I asked him to make a logo for us. You know, for West Label logo. How this dude gonna send me a black and gold logo?
My man.
Them dang on alphas be trying to sneak it in there on you, boy.
They cold.
It's a really good logo. I was like, but this black and gold, we'll have to do something like this. Don't forget.
I listen to the show, but it's sometimes like, oh my god.
You can't listen to Herb and 2. That's like satellite radio. You gotta listen to them, and you gotta turn the volume down with the kids, right? You gotta put your headphones in. Then don't forget, we got the Book of Dawn coming up today. Mike Brown triggered. Right, you know Mike put up some stupid numbers on the regular.
Oh, with all this trouble, there's going to be a whole bunch of talk.
Speaking of triggered, did you see the white folks in Kenosha pulled out their pistols and came out and protected their neighborhoods? We're gonna talk about that.
K-Town.
No, KKK Town.
That's what Shannon Aiken used to call it, because that's where he was from when I was at Madison.
K-Town. Yeah. K-Town, all right. KKK Town. Them white folks was like, oh no, y'all think y'all finna burn up over? Y'all burn up all that over there. And then they said they came to a understanding, because the black folks had water bottles and the white folks had guns. No, I'm just talking. Look, we're gonna talk about.
What the understanding is. All right, I'm stopping right here.
Let me go back though. I want to talk about this. The concept of the hip hop auction, and I was like, man, I would love to have Biggie's crown, and he signed it and everything, and I was thinking, how much would I pay for that? And I was like, I pay about $1,500, $1,000, maybe $2,000 for it, just to say I had it. Well, I know it's probably gonna go for more than that.
I want L Cool J's radio and Crush Groove.
Ooh, that's a good, but okay, man. So there you go. So you said you want this what, Sonia? You know what? Stop it. So. I was thinking though, like, what would I pay for in the black community? Like what? And then I got to thinking about like what do black people have of value? Then I went through like material. So I went through a couple things. The first thing I said was individually as families and then collectively, right? Like so individually, what do you have as a black person? As a family. What do you bestow to your family, right?
Right. And
collectively, what do we have? I think of like the Champs-Élysées fence and the Louvre and the and the African American History Museum and DuSable and then I start to think about like what do black people in America have of value? Right? When you say that they have a net worth of $1,700. What do we really have of value? Give us a call, 872-259-7474. So individually of value, I have a burgeoning media empire. I don't appreciate how you laugh.
No, it's the way you said it, Maze. You said it so humbly.
I do have,
but yet very not humbly.
This is a Goodfellas moment.
What do you mean? Oh, right. Like the waiter. Did I say something funny? I'm freaking funny. You think I'm freaking funny now? Did I say something? Do I look funny? No, I'm just joking. Okay. But I was just thinking, like, so I have, when you go through your list, what do you actually have? Individually. Then collectively, like, what will I leave to my family? Like, what will I leave to my kids? What will my kids...
My go-to?
You must be from New Orleans for real. That's like a rite of passage. What do you have to leave or bestow to our kids? I was thinking about that. I think we find some dignity and struggle in our kids' struggle, but I often think that the dignity that we find in our kids' struggle is because we often don't have anything. We still struggling ourselves, right? And so you say you like, dang, you want me to help you? I'm still trying to help my damn self, right? Because most black people don't have that accumulated wealth. It's part of what our conversation yesterday was, right?
Tesla's gonna split.
Big whoop. Like, what does that mean to the average black person?
Well, there's the problem right there.
Exactly. So I want y'all to give me a call. 872-259-7474. 872-259-7474. What do we have collectively?
You're right, but even that collective, like our neighborhood, our value has never gone up like it has in other areas of the city.
Right, like, I mean, think about, now maybe if you live in Bronzeville.
Mm-hmm.
If you live in Bronzeville, but if you live in
But you know what people find?
What?
I found this out when Kenwood started turning more.
Mm-hmm.
The black people who had owned those homes for, like 10, 20 years.
Didn't own them.
No, they owned them, but they had no money to do any upkeep or to renovate or restore. Mm-hmm. So when they sold it, people were like, no, I'm not going to pay $500,000, $1.5 million for that. Mm-hmm. I'll pay you $500,000. I'll go in, put in $200,000 worth, and now it's worth 1.8.
You know what? That is true.
Yep.
And you know what? I was just thinking, what was making me think about that? The Lou and Georgia Palmer mansion.
I pass that because I go to Mario's every once in a while.
That place is epic.
It's huge and vacant.
And, but, and I always thought about trying to get it, but the renovations on that would probably be $1 million to restore it.
I think I need like a couple more of my family members to go in on that. You'll live on the first floor.
Right, but I think you could do that. I would build a compound. But what do we have of value, right? Like, what do you have to leave to your kids, right? And then what do we have to leave to our people? One of the things
I am a Booker T person. If we had listened and followed pretty much, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, what they were saying, we would have value inside of our square or whatever rectangle, and it didn't matter what anybody else thought. Our value would be because our dollar was turning inside of it so much.
Well, I got you, and I'm not tripping on that at all. What I'm asking now, though, is what do we actually have, right? Like, what do we have? What do black people have of value? One of the things I felt like...
Ruthie, you got a farm, don't you?
Well, no, but I mean...
We got some acres.
Yes.
I was thinking, but that's a good thing. Yeah. What do we have of value?
And I think people are just starting to realize that, wait a minute, that land in Mississippi, I need to pay attention to that before the sheriff takes it.
What again do we have? Like, I was just thinking, then what do we have to leave to our children? Right? Like, so yesterday I was thinking about that whole conversation that we had, and it really just was wearing on me. Not like mad, but just thinking about it. And I felt some kind of way because I felt like we don't even know like what normal is. And I don't want to say normal, but we don't really, because we're always, and I think Salim says this, we're always on the brink of subsistence, that we don't even know what it is to really enjoy life, like consistently.
Right.
And then I think about our children and what do we have to pass on to them. Like, I think about how many times we tell the story of my parents was like, they dropped me off at college with $100 and was like, have at it. And then we wonder why we don't have a graduation, our graduation rates, and people don't stay there, right? Like, we don't even have the legacy to leave to say, like, parents, you do know your kid got to eat, right? Like, just because you drop them off at college doesn't mean that they, and I'm saying, like, trust me, and then you leave them to their devices. I
get you, because the stress when I grew up was...
Let me do this. Let me stop you here. Let's take a break. We'll be back. This is the Mace Jackson Show.
I'm Dr. Willie Wilson, and I'm running for U.S. Senate for the
state
of Illinois.
But honestly, when you
I would
think
never
about it,
give
what
up
do we
on
have?
inclusion and equality, prison reform, reduce property taxes, and economic opportunity for all.
That's
I want to get to know your neighborhood and the problem that you face every day. And I want to serve
material or but even like
the state of
so
Illinois.
If you can't
vote
pass
for
it
me
down to
is a vote for you.
Paid for by Willie Wilson for Senate 2020.
What about
Yeah.
I'm saying even values. Like yesterday when we was like, I really want to have a deeper discussion on this like hard work thing. Like, no, I do. Because I don't think.
That a lot. Oh, yes.
No, I really think like when I think about her, like I feel like right now I'm probably working harder than I have in a very, 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 very long time. Mm-hmm. It is not all physical. Don't get it twisted. Mm-hmm. Moving them desks, moving them cabinets, building this space, but the mental wear, the returning of emails, the thought of every single step, like. Right? Like, everything that has to go, like, okay, shit, we're literally going to be responsible for 12 hours a day. So what happens with the Sonias? What, like, all of the pieces and all of the parts to put together a billion, what I believe could essentially be $1 billion entity. That's really mind work. Mm-hmm. And I'm exhausted at the end of the day. Like, I mean, like I was digging a ditch.
I get you.
But see, that's kind of like for yourself. I think oftentimes we have to extend that same type of energy, except we accumulating wealth for somebody else, because we're working for people. So it's a different level of work.
But you're
doing it for yourself.
But I realized that to be able to do it for myself, I had to learn it. I had to work somewhere. Here's what I would tell you: nobody. But here's the thing: nobody starts. No.
But Ruthie just pointed out the problem with the younger crowd.
What?
They feel like you come there, he's like, I'm smart. Why not the boss?
Well,
you learned on the job and you realized you weren't going to be the boss until you moved up the ladder.
I do think that's the case. I think a lot of people. I faced this when we first started Maze Jack. Like, we had people that put up signs and they worked hard, and they would be like, "Man, this nigga is paying us $10 an hour, and he making XYZ thousands." And I was like, "Actually, bro, I pay you before I pay me." Mm-hmm. Right? My house is being in a double mortgage because the state is delayed in paying. You get a check every 2 weeks. I do think that there is the microwave theory. Like, I think because you went to school does not mean that you get to start at the top. I do think, somebody was like, people want you to slave and go get them some coffee and do some stuff. It's like, part of it is learning humility. What I think the biggest thing I learned in pledging was humility. And I think it comes across now. Like, I always think, like, damn, always be humble. Like, I'm confident, but I try to always be like, yo, I think you could.
You got that that hazing mentality in the sense of go through this to build you up to this.
You get nothing without struggle. Nothing. And I think if you don't learn how to struggle, like, how do you learn how to deal with payroll issues if you never had to figure out a payroll?
You mean like not getting your check?
Or how to make sure that everybody, mine isn't you don't get your check. Mine is, what do I have to do to make the check happen for everybody? Come on.
Got it.
You are. You are listening to the Maze Jackson Show, as the big voice just told you. You can catch us on WBGX 1570 AM. You can catch us on YouTube Live, Facebook Live. Y'all don't want to miss the conversation because the conversation is cracking. Shout out to the bigs. Shout out to Mike Brown, who'll be here today at 11. Y'all got to know that we have, starting on September 8th, Chicago Famous with Mike Love and the Diz, 3 to 6 every day right here on the Maze Jackson page. What's in it for the Black People Media? All right, y'all. Social media question of the day: what do black people have of value? Give us a call, 872-259-7474. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the phone line, right? Because we got Frank on the line. Frank, you know what? Frank is our most loyal caller. Frank, we appreciate you, man. What you got, man?
And I'm going to stay your most loyal listener because you was my favorite commentator on WVON.
Hey, man, you over here. Hey, Frank. You can't be advertising nobody else around you.
Oh, I sure ain't. I definitely won't do that right there. But good morning, brother Ray.
Good morning.
Good morning, brother Todd.
Good morning.
Little sister Ruthie and Sonia. Ladies, brother, please don't get mad at me. But in today's modern time, as far as I'm concerned, especially in the season we're in, the very most valuable thing that black people have individually and collectively is our vote and our lives. Okay, and can I say this, Mary Jackson? Melania Trump showed me that she's just as full of any other ones back in Donald Trump. Did you notice she mentioned nothing about having compassion for the kids down at the border in cages taken away from their parents, never see again. She never mentioned anything about having compassion for the black kids whose parents was murdered by police officers, and a lot of them right before their very eyes. You know what I'm saying? But Donald Trump, you protect that gold digger money to that coming when Donald Trump died. I understand. But
hold on, Frank.
Okay.
I asked a question this morning, and I got you. And we're going to talk about the RNC at 8 o'clock. But I asked you, what do black people have of value? You got an answer for me for that one?
I did. I answered our vote and our lives. That's the that was the plan.
The vote and our lives.
Slavery.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you
come out of slavery. No generational wealth. We have nothing materialistic to pass down, and that was the plan. Okay, that's the only thing we do have: our vote and our lives until we get to where we need to be in this country.
So we getting shot, and we ain't got no money. How's our vote working?
All of us are not filthy rich. All of us are not ball players, professional athletes, entertainers, all that crap. You know what I'm saying? But collectively, we have Nathan. Nathan, nigga, our family value was in 30 more years. They said our house will be worth $0. Okay, so let's keep it real.
Okay,
until we straighten out. You know what I'm saying? What's really important in getting in power and do the right things in power. We're gonna stay in that position. We have Nathan worth of value.
Thank you, Frank. Frank said we have Nathan. That's a scary concept to think that. We're struggling right now to figure out what do black people have of value. So I think I got the individual and the collective, right? Mm-hmm. I mean the individual and the family. This is my work on collective, right? So but I think it all works together, right? Like individually, collectively, and my family. I think we are so man, I think it's interesting. Let's go to the caller. Calling on the Mace Jackson Show. Hello, Israel.
Yes. Good morning.
What's up, Jacob? How you feeling, man?
Everybody.
What's up, brother?
I'm doing good. I'm doing blessed. Well, real quick, what we have us. You know what I mean? Now, the people who claim it black, I don't know. But these days, was written for that people. Are you kidding me? The American currency is not enough for everything, our heritage. We invented everything. Pretty much, we built the country. We just don't know the genius within us. And that currency is not the measuring stick. Now we see that the currency and everything else is, man, when we come up out of this, all this money they throwing around, that's deficit. You talking about the deficit in Chicago. Oh, my goodness. And then you talk about reparations, 3 to 4 trillion. They give it to us. Because right now, that dollar bill, that currency, it's dwindling down. I heard y'all talk about rich dad, poor dad, and all that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And people don't understand, you know what I mean, the real currency with the gold and the silver, that dollar. That's why they're changing the currency. They don't even want no money right now. But our heritage that we don't know, the most don't even know about. The 400 years is over, and we seeing it. And you said something. You was asking about the rabbi a couple weeks. We ain't on that rabbi. We ought to chosen people of the book, our heritage. Shalom, Leah.
All right, that's my brother Jacob Israel. You know what? Now, Jacob used to curse me out. He used to be your mama, your granddaddy, your big face, and everybody is coming home, man. We appreciate y'all. Look, this is the Mace Jackson Show.
You know, Mace, what I've always wondered is...
What have you always wondered, Todd?
What happens, or not what happens, but what happened to the children of our... very successful business people? Where'd they go?
They married white women and went away. All right, y'all. We'll be back. We'll be back after these messages.
The Mace Jackson Show will be back after this break. AM 1570 WBGX Harvey,
this
Chicago.
Show.
Now that'll get some
I'm just telling y'all, we have the best show. We gonna win.
This secure moment is brought to you by Secure Home and Automation, your premier authorized ring security dealer. Home invasions occur every 23 seconds, fire every 85 seconds, and medical emergencies occur suddenly. In times like these, get Secured Home and Automation and an affordable wireless home alarm system with professional monitoring. This includes fast emergencies response, free security analysis, free equipment, and free installation. A limited time offer, be proactive. Call today, don't delay.
Man.
708
I'm gonna tell y'all.
251-5069. That's 708-251-5069. The first 10 callers receive a free camera valued at $250. Call now, 708-251-5069.
What's up, YouTube? How y'all feeling this morning?
Visit our website, securehomeandautomation.com. Secure Home and Automation, where your life safety is our priority. It brings authorized dealers, certain restrictions apply.
Hi, I'm Dr. Willie Wilson.
Hey, Dr.
People in Illinois have been crying out for justice, equality, and fairness from their government for years. And it keeps getting worse. Unfair taxes. Laws that unjustly imprison nonviolent offenders. The rich get richer.
What's up, Sheila? What up, Fred Hayes? What up, Clark Collins? What Boom 2018? We glad you appreciate this. What up, Anthony Robinson? Y'all tune in to the Maze Jackson Show. Y'all need to check out our day all day though. It's funny how money changes situations.
Pretty much know a little bit of every song that come on.
I just know the hook.
Your lyrics be a little off sometimes, but
I know the hook.
Them, though.
I know a hook. And then I reinvent I call them the Maze Jackson remixes. The Maze. One day I would love to do is just record, like play all the songs and keep the headphones on, and just have Sonia record like all my favorite songs, and then do like Jay and Murder the Hits, right? Do like today we doing Purple Rain, Dearly Beloved. We are gathered. Let's go crazy. We are gathered here today to get through this thing called life. Electric word, life. It means forever. And that's a mighty long time. But I'm here to tell you, there's something else through the afterworld. A world of never-ending happiness. You can always see the sun, day or night. So when that elevator tries to break you down, go crazy. Punch the highest number. Dun, 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 dun. Man, I'm telling you, I could do the whole. You know what I wanted to do for my birthday, and I might do it for my 50th? I might do a Maze Jackson karaoke concert. Right? With a live band with all my favorite songs.
Wait, is this gonna be you doing karaoke? Oh, that's a Maze Jackson concert.
Right. That's the point. I want to have but I'll do mostly raps. So it won't be the song, so I could get the words. Because I'm going to tell you what I also want to do. I wanted me and Carrie to do the Jay-Z Beyonce photo shoot. And just redo all the outfits.
Yeah. Yeah, you could do like that wedding that Will Smith and the young lady had. where Isaac Hayes was the guy who was gonna marry him.
Officiate? No, I remember that.
You can do something like that.
No, I wanted to do the last album they did when they did all of those photos and like the Louvre. Yeah. We just put the outfits on and then I have them put in the background.
If you Google Jay-Z and Beyonce Halloween costumes, you can see some easy ways to recreate those looks.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I get impatient. Right? Like I love the outcomes of photo shoots. I hate photo shoots.
Having to get the outfits and change the clothes.
I think like if somebody did that part of it, and all I had to do was, and we made it fun, then that's what I want to do for our photo shoot. For our photo shoot, I want to get everybody. We're gonna have like music, have food, a little drinks, and then everybody do their we'll have different sets, different changes. Like it's just the planning of it all.
Got it.
What y'all think about the Brandy Monica versus? When we was talking about this, Mike and Diz talked about it. They said nobody cares, but I think women between Brandy and Monica, because I feel like Monica is for grown. She made music for grown black women. Brandy made poppy songs that we liked.
It was for teenagers.
And then she got a little. She did, but I feel like Monica aged. Brandy kind of. Once she Moesha, she was like stunted. Frozen in Moesha, man. Like
that's a good one.
I couldn't name a Monica song to save my life.
Yes, you can.
I can. Then I only know one Brandy song. I like it though.
The Boy's Mine.
The thing about staying in a room.
Sitting up in my room.
Shine, shine, you're beautiful inside. Hey, rise up, don't you know you can fly? You are listening to the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd Stroger, and my girl, Ruthie Mo, in the building. Plus, Miss Sonia Escobar. We are flying the soul plane. Now I want to remind you all, you can get us on What's in It for the Black People Radio, which is WBGX 1570 AM. You can also check us on What's in It for the Black People Media. That's right. Go to the Maze Jackson page for the most dangerous social radio experience in Chicago. Then you can also go to the YouTube page. Check us out there. And you can listen to us on the TuneIn app. Now I want to let y'all know, the lineup is growing. Today we got at 11 o'clock we got Mike Brown with Triggered. Then coming up after that we got Herb and 2. I feel like Herb and 2, I said what I said, got some competition in that slot, because you know they do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Tuesdays and Thursdays the bigs. And coming up, that's right, September 8th is when it's when we change the way you see radio, Todd. You heard? You see? You like I did that? How you see radio? How you
see radio?
Yeah. See, you know that's how when I be hanging out with my cousin, he was like, I got it.
I like the optics of that.
Right? He was like, I see how you did that right there. The optics of how you hear the radio. See, my cousin, he be having them visions. He said he was hanging out with that President Obama. Said he finally found something about President Obama he liked, and that's how he got that. But look. First of all, I want to hit Ruthie first before we go. I want to hear what people said. What do we have? What do black people have of value? Because you said social media saved the day.
Social media saved the day. So the first thing that we got from Devin is the most valuable thing we have is us. But when we talk about the tangibles.
Thank you, Devin. Because
talking about the tangibles, though, we have, Maria said, I started collecting Hebrew Brantley pieces when possible, and other living artists.
Man, look, y'all, I'm just here to tell you, I want me a Hebrew Brantley so bad. I want a flyboy. Like I'm gonna tell you, somebody better watch your back. I went to his art gallery thing. Mm-hmm. It was really cool. It's like I always think like who thinks of this stuff, and then who says I'm gonna actually make it. It was off the chain. Go ahead.
That's funny. I was thinking, who's got the money to buy this?
Not apparently Jay-Z, because Jay-Z bought a piece for like $100 million or something. Mm-hmm. Like something like when that check came through, I know it was like, wait, he said, who? How much?
I went to my friend's gallery and I said, ooh, that's really nice. He said, yeah, that's $25,000. I said, I'll be back.
Speaking of that, I do want to point out, my good friend William Ward is opening up a venue, and he is going to be looking to display black art for black artists, and the people, the patrons of the venue will be able to. He's opening up an old school arcade, and so the patrons of the venue will be able to buy the art. So if you are a black artist and you're trying to look for exposure, and I think he's gonna have some pretty high traffic as well. Speaking of high traffic, he's gonna be selling cannabis utensils utensils. What do y'all can buy? Like the place where you go and you get all the stuff, like the papers.
The head shop?
I wouldn't know anything about that, but you mean like a head shop, right?
Okay, yeah. So he's opening up a head shop around the 15th of September. So he's going to be asking y'all to come check that out as well. Yeah. All right, Ruthie, what else they got?
All right, so also, so speaking of more of the dark side of social, not like the proverbial dark side, but we got Alvin said Jordans, red bottoms, rims.
You pass. Look,
rims are expensive.
Now, most people try to get buried with that nowadays. The kids be like, they be like, put rims on the casket. Make my casket like a car. They do the Fluky Stokes like you ain't seen these people getting buried sitting up now.
No, that's a new thing.
Bro, they sitting up. They be sitting up in the chair. They be playing video games in the casket. The whole thing.
It's like a thing.
It's like a thing. Like
I gotta make my will. My casket's gonna be closed and locked.
You know what I want? I want to get. Okay, I know this is gonna sound crazy. I just want to get buried. I want to have a party, and I want y'all to smoke my ashes.
You Tupac.
Yeah. Hey, did you see when his guys said they did it though? They said they did it actually. They actually. I don't know how to take that. I'm not trying to be. Thank you very much. I know we are still shooting for mulatto magic, but no, not me. Go else. What else we got, Ruthie?
All right. The next thing we got is James said, hopefully insurance policies.
Woo! Because I'm gonna tell y'all what. If I get another GoFundMe for somebody's funeral, we gotta do that. Like we gotta do. I think we need to find a company and get with that. And push that. Like just
like
I
used to be in insurance for a minute. We were trying to
sell funerals.
No, well, yeah, actually, you're right. One of the agents was pushing insurance for younger people because people were dying at a higher rate, but it is a big market.
The profit off of Black Death.
And also we were trying to target churches because they
target
had
churches for death.
They had insurance policies and still do with a big company, but it's a big white company.
How much because the big white companies know to pay the preacher. I'm telling you. Now, dog. I'm telling you. You know where it started every single time? It always starts at the. Can we get into some of these churches?
I'm with the black guilt. I'm trying to work on black guilt.
Oh my God. This is the.
Well, you see, I'm not an agent today, though.
How'd that work out for you? Yeah. All right, y'all. So look, okay, what we got? Anything else, Ruthie? Before we move on?
And then mostly we have just values, cultural relevance.
Values. Yesterday, y'all got mad at me though when we talked about values.
We didn't get mad at you, Maze.
Hard work. I mean, y'all got mad at me for talking about. I do think that's one of the things that we need to talk about passing down, though, because I do think that there are different values that are passed down in the black community. And I often think that when you try to pass what I would consider good family values down, you are looked at with disdain.
Yeah. Why you trying to act white?
Yeah. Why you? That ain't my experience. It is. The people made me.
It's just the way that family, the quote unquote family values are used to make black people feel like it's something wrong with us.
Okay, so let me say this. If, as part of your family, you hang on the wall stolen materials from somebody who lives in your neighborhood, there is a problem with you.
What you mean, like stolen materials? Like art?
Like how when like your TV.
Oh.
Right.
Now, if you can sit in the window, look at someone who has done absolutely nothing wrong to you and see them as an opportunity or as a Vic, there is something wrong with you. Yeah. Period. If you can see, if your way of survival revolves around being a predator to someone or taking something from someone that does not belong to you, you are dysfunctional.
But that's what white people been doing to black people for a long time.
It's institutional. But I'm with you. But they do it. So here's me. Part of the reason I don't trip on the looting and the robbing is because they didn't do it to black people. Mm-hmm. Like, if you do it to your own people, you are dysfunctional. If you can look at, if you live in the same neighborhood as Todd, and Todd's garage door is open, mm-hmm. and you walk in, and so white people are dysfunctional. Let's just start there. And you walk into Todd's garage, and your instinct is not to close his garage, but to say, damn, he left his garage door open and so I can go shopping. You have a problem. And that ain't got nothing to do with nobody white making you feel guilty because you ain't taking from nobody white. Mm-hmm. Now, if we want to justify that, then what I'm going to say is that was a family value that was passed down. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. That ain't about no white people making you feel bad about. You should feel damn bad about yourself if you can steal from your neighbor, black, white, Asian, or Latino. Mm-hmm. Now, if you stole bread because you was hungry and they left the bread in the garage, I ain't tripping. I'm going to be like, well, it was bread, it wasn't.
Well, what
bread.
if you steal a lawnmower to sell so you can't get the bread?
More likely you're stealing a lawnmower so you can get something other than bread.
Right.
What if you're stealing a lawnmower because your grass need cutting?
Then you come knock on my door and you say, can I borrow?
And Ty gonna say no.
Then
if you live down the street, I'm probably gonna know you. And I'm saying, all right.
Right. Remember, Todd knows everybody. Todd knows everybody. But think about it. Todd knows everybody on this block. Remember, he told us, I'm the fourth oldest on my block, right? Like, how many of us don't even know the people on our block? So again, if you can look at your people,
and I can say my neighbor across the way has closed my garage more than once.
Right. And I'm gonna say that I do it all the time. Mm-hmm. Or I will go knock on my neighbor's garage and we got a fence. I'll be like, I seen them dudes across the street. They seen your garage up. Mm-hmm. I'm saying that some things that we make excuses for, in my estimation, are inexcusable. Mm-hmm. And I think, how did we get here? I'm just curious how we got here.
Values.
Oh, so I guess, yeah. When we talk about passing down values, mm-hmm. right? If you are looking for a lick, those are values that are passed down. But the value that you have passed down is predatory. Its subsistence is predatory, and it's on us. Now, whether white people did it or not, they could put dysfunction in our community, right? And I don't care what they did, how they did it. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist, but I am saying that that is not how a village, a community, anything that is supposed to thrive operates. And I'm saying that if we have to go in and retrain our people, prune the hedges, whatever we need to do to get to a point where we don't see it normal, like the concept that we feel like there is a rationale for stealing the lawnmower, period. The lawnmower, period. Mm-hmm. Is dysfunctional to me.
So it's okay for me to go to the John Deere factory and steal some equipment, but just not from my neighbor?
No, but I wouldn't. First of all, I would say that I don't think theft is the only option. And I think when we start pushing that narrative...
But we're just using the lawnmower example.
Okay, but I'm saying, like, I think that there are options. And I think that we try to play like they're not options. And there are options that we don't like. I told you yesterday, even if I made $3.35 an hour and I had a family, I would work however many hours it took to get to the number that I need to be able to provide for my family.
You did.
That is a family value that was passed down to me. Mm-hmm. I don't care whether I like it or not. Mm-hmm. I don't care whether Mr. Charlie, I have a responsibility to my family. Now, I am going to work to get out of that and not be subjective to that. But if that's what it takes, I don't get to always do what I want to do to survive.
But where you get that value from, though?
My family.
And so, but if our family structures are in disarray, how are we gonna pass down them values?
I'm suggesting
in trouble.
Well, I'm suggesting that they're like not. Right I don't. But I'm suggesting that they're not all in disarray. I'm suggesting that No. I'm suggesting that we don't strive to move to get better. We say this is why we do it instead of saying how do we not do it. Like, what are the things? So when yesterday I heard somebody saying, how much was you paying for the job? And when they was mad, I was paying $9 an hour. I was paying, how much money should I pay you to put up posters? To take, I mean, like, there's
a livable wage.
No, I shouldn't.
Wage.
No, I should not pay you a livable wage to put up posters. No. And if you have made the decisions in your life, right, that have made it where you have to subsist off, and I'm not saying you don't, no. There's a finite value to every job. Every job does not supposed to pay you a living wage. Right. It just isn't. It is a $9 part-time hour job. I never in my life thought that McDonald's was my stopping point. McDonald's was my starting point. And even if I was to work at McDonald's, I would always say, dang, I want to be the district manager. So even in that realm, I recognize there's a connection to my work, the time and work that I put in to elevation. Now, if I don't want to do all of the steps, I just want to go from I read the book and now I should run the company. Mm-hmm. That's where most people fail. That's why I feel like we have this challenge. And I just think like there is no substitute for hard work. Now, whether your work is mental, whether your work is physical, whether it is to get to the top, to get to where the money is, you have to put in. There is not going to be something where you just make no investment, no time, no commitment, and all of a sudden you went to school.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately.
Huh?
Unfortunately.
Okay. Well, unfortunately or fortunately.
You like school.
I think college and the cost of college is truly a scam.
I could believe.
But did you like it while you were in school?
Sure.
Did you learn?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just gonna say this. I'm not talking about the price of knowledge. I'm just talking about the actual premise of knowledge, the critical thinking, all of those things. Look, we're gonna talk about it more.
I think it's also dangerous to always try to look for a mark. That's a slippery slope, and if you find the big enough mark, one day they arrest you.
Sadly, that's the American way. America is exploitive. What they say, either you eating or you getting ate.
No, I don't think
people say that, but the majority, the middle, is not in that group.
Let's talk about it when we come back. It's the Mae Jackson Show. Yeah, I think one of the things that's happening, realistically, is that we are seeing the transformation of America, in my opinion.
We are.
Right? And I think
that's because the leaders are
get down how you live, bros before hoes, money over B words.
Well, it's always been that. Men never treated women like they were worth much.
But now it has influenced our culture. So we talk about what we passing down.
No, it's always
our
been
cultural
there.
No, see,
but
I agree, but it was a little bit different.
Because you got YouTube. Now.
But I think there was still a component of let me still take care of my home. Let me still take care of my house. I can have this. I can have a side piece, a couple kids on the side, but let me still take care of my home. Maybe not emotionally, but at least financially, I know the bill's gonna be paid.
Oh no, you're right. I know some.
You guys, saying that? Wait,
they left a property to their side piece.
I mean, we had some recent funerals where the side pieces was like, I need to. Let me. So I think that's Ruthie's generation, I guess. Because again, it's like going back to me with the whole like opening the door for my wife, right? Like I feel like you have responsibilities, and I think that and this is part of what I'm saying. What are we passing down? Mm-hmm. I think that it's like the same thing that we like, we hate, right? Like so, you like the fact that. For instance, Maze is going to be a door opener, a provider, a blah, 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 right? But all the shit that took me to get there is all the stuff that you despise.
Like what?
Right? Like from the mentality of work hard, like I gotta grind.
No. I don't despise that mentality. I just always push back when that narrative is used to make black people feel like it's something wrong with us about white people. You can't tell me just to pull myself up. It's that bootstrap rhetoric. It really does bother me because you ain't got no boots.
There's the problem. They got their foot on our neck at all times.
So, okay. So for me, I look at racism as a hurdle, not a wall. I believe my personal example is I have been challenged by racial issues in ways that people probably never would have experienced. Just from where we grew up in the timing and all of that. I think I had a choice, and this is like the whole, I had a choice, right? There was a point in Bolingbrook where they could have broke me, right? They could have just been like, and I could have been like, oh, woe is me. And I fundamentally said, like, these crackers ain't better than me, right? And I had to get to a point where I was like, I'm going to beat you at your own shit. Because I recognize that the rule book is not mine. Right? Now, if the rule book is not mine, I got a choice. I'm gonna do like some people and operate outside of society, outside of in this purgatory that I call it, or I'm going to compete, win, and still be down for my people. But I'm not. If I want to run a McDonald's, I don't get to rewrite the rules for McDonald's. I gotta work up the way up there, and then along the way, like, yo, young brother, man, I did work harder. I did stay later. I did do all the things so that I could put myself in a position that when you're in a jam, I can help you. Somebody has to do the hard work. Or like even with the crime families, like with the Kennedys, with anybody, there was somebody that took all the bullets. Like, did whatever it was, like with the Americans, whatever, right? Like, they was like, I'm gonna be the pioneer, I'm gonna cut the shit down. Somebody said for their family, we're going to mean something in this world. Now, whatever I fucking gotta do to do it, whether that means I gotta cut your head off, whether it means I gotta burn your business down, that's how the Americans did it, right? For me, it was, I can't go kill no white people because you're gonna go to jail for that. But your little attitude, the stuff you say, the things you do, that's not going. I'm gonna have bullets. I'm gonna have bulletproof armor when I go to work. I'm gonna come home. I'm gonna vent. I'm gonna say all my stuff. But you won't stop me from being your boss one day. You won't stop me. Now you can call it whatever you want to do, but one day you're gonna report to me, and I'm gonna take all the shit that you did, and I'm gonna use that, and that becomes the nuclear energy. Every time somebody comes against me, it's like nuclear for me. And so I feel like every white boy that shitted on me growing up has to watch me on TV now. They have to. I remember writing it in my 10-year class reunion book, 5-year. Y'all gonna see me on TV, right? And everybody like, man, we're so proud of you. Well, you wasn't proud of me in 1999 when you called me nigga every day going to school. Now, you can denigrate that process, but right now all of that shit forged this fire that allows us to create what we're creating now. And I just think there is a need for a struggle. There is a need to go through fire to be able to withstand real shit. And it's like the whole hazing mentality and I don't say hazing, but I do think you gotta humble yourself. I do think you gotta you have to be people come over here and they like, man, you sweeping, you vacuuming, you doing, there's nothing I won't do. If you say, Maze, go get me a cup of coffee, I will go get you a cup of coffee, right? Because I don't see myself better, but I do see myself as creating an opportunity, and I'm humble enough to go get a cup of coffee at the same time to tell somebody, go do what I tell you to do, because it's going to be good for you in the long term. You might not like what I told you. You might not like to hear what I tell you to do, and it may not be the process that you want. But how many times did 10 years later, the people I said, rewrite that fucking paper? Do it again. You're an asshole. You're this. Then when they get the job at the NBA, they come back and they say, damn, I wanted to be in the NBA and you was having me do stuff at Maze Jack with your little Negro, entrepreneur Negro company that now the NBA players, come on. Yes, y'all. We are. You know what? The Facebook Live, the YouTube, that's off the chain. There's so much going on around here. I love this generational conversation, but very quickly before we go, did you all see Jacob Blake, the murder in Kenosha, Wisconsin, shot 7 times in the back? They said that his spine was severed, so he is now paralyzed.
Right.
Last night there were 3 shootings, 1 fatality apparently. Also, the white folks in Kenosha came out with their guns. They said they were out, since the police couldn't protect the area, they were out to give them some aid and assist, including some former elected officials, white elected officials. There was a standoff, apparently, which ended with both sides saying that they both were trying to protect the area, but I think the white guys had the guns. The black folks had the water bottles and the water bottles and fireworks, etc. I think that standoff really shows kind of that whole black-white thing. Like, white folks is ready to pick up arms now and go. We still, like, we peaceful protesting, and they like, peaceful protest y'all ass on y'all own block. I just think,
I get that part, though.
I mean, I get it. I just wonder what's next. Like, are we really ready to respond as black people? Like, I mean, like, I know that there's a lot of people out there that's ready to get in front of the police's face and snap and off, but what happens when they cut the power off to that part of town?
My question is, do you think, and I say you, I mean y'all, that the police response has been too rough lately?
Let's talk about that on the other side of the break. It's the Mace Jackson Show.
That was a quick break.
No, because we got through talking about the family value. We got to take that stuff on air.
Yeah, we got. I mean, I see a lot of people agreeing with you, Maze.
No,
I said every boss used to be a worker first.
I mean, what I learned working. McDonald's, first of all, I think McDonald's was one of the greatest things I ever did in my life. But I learned that no matter what job somebody is doing, if you're at the lowest level, the only reason that you're an employee is because somebody at the very top is making money, right? I think that I am an entrepreneur because of my attitude, not because of my desire to, it's like you try to tell me what to do, and the moment you say it the wrong way, I'm out.
It's your ego.
It's
which
more
is
than
not, which is not a bad thing, but that's what has propelled you to work harder.
And I'm saying I can give you that, but I feel like there's this belief that you get anything with, like, I don't believe that you get anything without work unless you're a trust fund baby. And I do believe there is let me not say there's a direct correlation, because white folks have put my case in example is right now I feel like I posted yesterday who named the black political operatives, and motherfuckers said Tony Preckwinkle and Lori Lightfoot, but there really are no black political operatives, right? I feel like in my mind I'm one of the smartest black political minds in the space.
Yeah, they're elected officials.
Right. I can't get a job doing what I love, right? Because I ain't gonna just tell motherfuckers what they want to hear. I'm gonna tell you what I believe, etc. There's not really I talked about this yesterday. There's not really a space for that. I'm not tripping. So does racist and white boys are the reason that I'm really not working, because I offend them, right? I can help a lot of black people, but they scared of offending the white people by having me come to the room. So I live through that racism every day, right? Like, literally, in my chosen craft, in my profession. And part of the reason that we do this is because I don't get to practice my craft, right? So don't tell me about racism. Don't tell me about I had to figure out another way. Now, do I fucking lay down? Do I do like everybody else and say, okay, well, they said I can't work in politics anymore. Do I go to McDonald's now? No, I make a space. Now, I'm not saying everybody does, but to make a space, guess what I had to do? To even be able to do this, I had to get my ass up every day at 4 o'clock in the morning. Mm-hmm. Be at the radio station before anybody. Prepare a show that meant that, like, how many hosts has been in that space, right? And how many of them just say, shit, I could come in with a newspaper and roll through it and do my thing. And then you get what you get. Mm-hmm. Or you got somebody who's there before everybody, who's writing, who's reading everything, I could show up in 10 minutes before the show. Mm-hmm. Right? That's hard work. Right? The hard work is, how much are you willing to put in without somebody paying you to be the best? So, again, when I wake up in the morning, I don't say, well, shit, I want to do a morning show and I want to sit down in front of the thing. No, I have to read. I have to prepare myself. I have to watch. I have to look. I have to know what the fuck I'm talking about. I have had to be able to deliver this show. A lot of people would like to deliver the show, but to be able to deliver the show, I got 20 years of hardcore experience working, grinding, from putting signs in or whatever. Now, it's a lot of people that want to come sit in here and be like, yo, I want to be a radio host, and they happy to broadcast in front of 300 people. I say,
I know somebody who wants to. I told him I'd ask you if you wanted to speak to him. Not you said that. Okay. I forgot about that. Right,
but you build a better mousetrap, and now you got a space for black people to be able to be free to express themselves without it. But I had to work somewhere and watch the other people and do what they did and see the equipment and all that stuff, and that's all added up. All right, y'all, this is the Maze Jackson Show. Catch us on YouTube Live, Facebook Live. It's Maze Jackson, Todd Stroger, Ruthie Moore, and Sonia Escobar. Don't forget today at 11 o'clock, we got Mike Brown coming up with Trigger. From 11 to 1 to 3, we got Herb and 2. What I said, September 8th, Mike Love and Diz, not the Diz, and Diz, Chicago famous. Chicago, we are going to change the way you see radio forever. All right, y'all, this Jacob Blake murder. Y'all, Todd, you asked before we went to break, has the police response been too harsh over the last few weeks? Talk to me about what you mean. Break it down. I
just saw that somewhere that they were talking about our city with the looting and stuff, were the police being too hard on protesters and I guess saying they actually are causing incidents to happen instead of trying to stop them.
Thoughts on that? Ruthie, I know you got a perspective on that one. Talk to me.
I think that right now the protesters have upped the ante on the police. I think that's where we're kind of living at. And
what's that mean?
You remember the umbrellas and the water bottles and
they busting back.
Yeah, so I think So basically, I think the police have had to escalate their tactics.
In that, I don't see them busting back. I see them being the aggressor. The protesters, I mean. They've been aggressive on the police.
But they've been the aggressor in response to the police's aggression.
I remember when
I don't know, because if I remember, didn't all this kind of stuff start at the Columbus statue?
No, it didn't start at the Columbus. It was the Columbus statue. They was whooping the police on the first day after George Floyd. That's why Lori lost the whole thing, Todd. They've been whooping on the police, fighting back. Todd, you don't remember the first day when they had the riots and the uprisings, and the police cars were burning and the police was on the ground and they had taken the bikes and they was beating.
That's my point. I don't think the police were really doing much. It was the protesters who were the aggressor. That's what I was saying.
But the police, but the origin of the aggression was the George Floyd murder.
And state violence perpetuated against black people by the police.
Look at
we got to remember that, right?
So I think Ruthie is more educated than that than I am, because you got to. So wait a minute, go back. Explain what you just said. What that was? You said state violence. Break that down.
I think I just said in response to what Todd said is the state violence that the police have perpetuated against black people for a long, long time. I think that is what's coming to a head. People are like, no, we ain't going for this. Let me go get my umbrella. Let me freeze my water bottle.
I don't know, Ruthie. I don't know if you were here when we talked about that, but I agree with Maze's theory. Is that those people were professional agitators who are ready at any moment to get in a ruckus. That's why they had those umbrellas, because they know.
They already knew what it was.
So I think they
were professional warriors.
I think so. I think that's interesting that you say that, because I do believe that there are. So here's what I believe.
And May said the white people were the professionals, and they stood in the back, and the black people were the protesters who didn't understand what the hell was going to happen. They stood in the front and got punched in the mouth.
So when I grew up as a kid, I grew up in Bolingbrook, and I remember the white kid. We used to play war all the time.
Right.
Like war. Straight up war. Like jump in the streams. Like your mama would kick your butt if you was black doing this. Like we would run through the streams. We would be Rambo. We would be Army. We practiced. We wore fatigues. We hid. We did all of that stuff. We shot at each other with fire. Like all the stuff that I'm seeing right now. Right now is all the stuff like the war games.
In suburbia.
We used to climb the cliffs. I don't know if twins remember the cliffs, but there was these cliffs that we would play, and it was like literally a 60-foot, like half a quarry dug out, and we would be climbing up it, and people would be shooting fireworks at you as you trying to climb up the thing, because we was playing Army and Rambo. So when I see the frozen water bottles, I do believe that there are white folks that have tactics that they've been practicing for a long time, and it's not just white folks. I think that a lot of this is not the genesis, but the continuation of the Occupy movement and conversions of all of those people who finally said, we gonna fight back. Now, I think that is a standing group. They also are now recognizing that there is a time of civil unrest, and they have integrated themselves, and they have, I don't want to call them sleeper cells, but I think they got people active in all types of cities, and they have a whole, like when I see that flyer with all them pigs on it, and it say, bring your umbrellas and pack water and whatever.
They are talking to a specific group.
It's like, you know what it reminds me of? The Warriors, right? Remember when you heard it's like they're talking. Yeah, remember when she was like, "Hey, Papas and Papas,
right.
This is, this is a message to those guys that are trying to ride back to Coney Island. We want to send you a message," and then the music would come on and be like, "Nowhere to run, baby, nowhere to hide," right? And I think that there is a multi-level thing happening. I think you got the people that have been preparing for this, and they know how to make lightning strikes right out of the civil unrest. Gary McCarthy explained it to us, right? And then
that's not the black folks. The black folks are the ones who get whacked and taken to jail.
No, some of them are not the black folks.
People are the ones who photos end up on the CPD looting website.
Right.
Well, no, but the
black folks are the people who end up trying to hit a police officer with a skateboard. Like, okay, that's gonna work out well for you.
I think that's the black kid with the skateboard hitting the cop is the black kid that grew up in suburbs, and he didn't realize that he wasn't one of the white kids. That's what happened. They was like, yeah. So I think this is what I see. I see a lot of young people saying to themselves, like, "Man, bro, we done march forever." Like, I feel like the lack of, what we are seeing is probably the young people having either the courage or being fed up so much that the stuff that, this to me is a continuation of Rodney King. Like,
or it's the black people being fed to the lions. That's the white people like, yeah, you go get him.
I got you. But I think that the fear of the lions is going away, right? Like the fear of,
that's because the lion hasn't shown his teeth yet.
I got you.
I'm
not debating you, but I think that what we are watching is the continuation of Rodney King. This is the continuation of Emmett Till. This is the continuation of all. I think so. There's two things we got to do. I think we got to look at this by incident, but then I think you got to look at it in the broader context. And I don't think we've all made that adaptation. I think the young people are just saying like, dog, if you giving me the history book says that the last time y'all marched, y'all got y'all butt kicked. Then y'all sent the kids and they got sprayed with hoses and dogs. And then y'all told me to go. And then we had Jason Van Dyke and y'all still killing people. And Rakia Boy. And I think that what you're seeing is the collective shift of all of these incidents. Because the kids now are doing what we probably would. We was like, man, they'll kill us if we do what they... Like, I mean, I remember... swinging back on a police officer by accident, and what happened to me? Right? No, I'm serious.
And that was an accident.
I made Police's Wildest Videos because they whooped your boy down, and I was like, "Woo! Don't swing on a police. Make sure ain't no police in the vicinity because they went ham."
And you know why the mayor has, in our opinion, or at least mine, lost confidence with the city?
Why?
It's because in the beginning or the second time around, they didn't use tear gas, bean bags, or rubber bullets. There was no show of force saying, don't do this no more.
But you know what? I truly do believe that if the city would have responded that way, it would have created, more people would have hit the streets. I don't think people are technically really afraid of rubber bullets. You know, that makes good content. Sometimes people are out looking for content. So I'm not saying that sometimes people are agitating.
People are out looking for trouble.
They are, but I believe that being
good trouble. That's what according to John Lewis 10 years from now, this they would see themselves as a continuation of John Lewis's Good Trouble.
They may, but I'm not sure.
People are looking for a fight.
You know what the difference between now and then was, as I see it. I could be wrong because I'm not in any of those meetings. Is then there was a strategy for everything. Now, Rosa Parks just didn't say, I'm not getting up. That was a strategy. She was a part of the group, but she wasn't the only one. There were other people.
I'm with you on that, but I'm suggesting that there are strategies. It just depends on what group you're in. Ooh. Right? So you're having a very, in my estimation, that's a simplistic view. I'm going to say that
I believe there's strategy.
There's
anarchists out there.
I agree.
Who are trying to burn the whole city.
And there are anarchists. There are strategies to activate the anger and angst of black people and all of that.
I see that on Facebook every day. There are some people, and I'm not going to say any names at the moment, who their only thing is to try to activate people who are outside and mad at the system.
And guess what? It's working right now.
And it's a lot of people.
It's still not working well.
But it is
because they're still disorganized and dysfunctional.
Todd, let me tell you why it's working. It seems like
where you been, Ruthie, that I don't know about.
The city cares about property damage in certain parts of the city. So when you start damaging property and hitting them profits, that seems to work. When you start swinging back on the police,
in what fashion?
Because we are sitting right now.
I guess I really should ask you, what is the outcome you're trying to get?
We are in the midst of a revolution. We are in the midst of a revolution.
So what is that revolution going to end up like?
So now that is what we are trying to shape and formulate right now, because there is a lot of hijacking going on by a whole lot of different groups with a whole lot of different agendas. And so what we need to figure out now is, what is our agenda and what is the means to our end? Because if we don't know, if we just running around stealing the shoes and the auto parts and breaking the Dollar Tree, then who's controlling the movement?
And we're gonna stop it. And we're gonna stop it right there, and then we're gonna come back and talk about it when we come back. This is the Maze Jackson Show.
Who controls the movement?
So, but this is the thing. I think that right now, no one controls it. There are factions, right? Yes. And over time, right? I think one of the best. I don't really want to explain George Soros. Anyway, I don't really want to give I said what I said no props, because I start mentioning them and then I make their ratings go up. But Herb and Two talked about this, and they were like, this is the first stage of black kids saying, man, or black kids, but everybody mixing in, but saying, man, we ain't taking this shit no more. Now, Is there a plan? And is it messy in the first part? And does it look like whatever it looks like right now because they haven't put it all together? Yes, it does. But as it continues to happen and as it continues, it's going to start to sort itself out. Now, we don't know what it sorts itself out. Does it become Trotsky? Does it become the American Revolution? There's a whole variety of ways it sorts itself out. Mm-hmm. But what you are saying, they really... That's why I think it's important that we have these conversations, because I swear to God, I'm not mad at what's happening. Like, as long as it doesn't come, like, if white people are inconvenienced and uncomfortable and they are screaming and running around town, I don't really care. Mm-hmm, I don't. Mm-hmm. And I think that the fact that the kid, like, I feel like my instinct is to say, you never let downtown go, right? Like, never. Like, but I also feel like, make them white motherfuckers uncomfortable. When you watch our documentary and you see, like, when they was talking about Laquan McDonald, mm-hmm. and the white people was like, I mean, I heard about it, but no, not really. And they like, dude. I mean, they all out in the park playing frisbee. You got the guy walking dogs. He's like, yeah, I just walk dogs because I really don't want to have a job, and I take care of these people and these people. And you see all this stuff.
I'm almost sure, maybe I didn't tell you, when I was in Wisconsin, I took African American studies. Mm-hmm. There were two white kids who knew each other. I think they were boyfriend and girlfriend. They were from Sparta, Wisconsin, which is way up north. And they were like, well, I ain't gonna see no black people till I got here. Mm. And then we were reading, I think it was Lerone Bennett's book, The American... Before the Mayflower. Right. So there's pictures of black people, being brutalized in slavery. Mm-hmm. And they were like, I never heard this before.
But that's, I just think, like, it's...
You know what I feel like we need? We need elders within the movement to steer it back to where we need it to be.
The problem, isn't that part of the movement is we ain't listening to them old people no more.
There's two parts to that, right? There is, if you believe that counsel, young people fight, old people provide counsel. Give me 1 second. Then come on, we can come back. You are listening to the Maze Jackson Show. Hey, y'all, we were talking about what's going on with these uprisings. And before we were talking on off air, and Ruthie, you were saying that you believe the movement needs elders. Talk to me.
Yes, I think the movement needs elders right now. I remember one thing you said to me, Maze, about a month ago was, you said, and this was related to the Columbus statue, you said it used to be my job to steer young people in the wrong way. and that caught me so off guard, Maze. It caught me so off guard. And then I said, well, what if we had the Maze Jacksons steering the movement in the direction that is conducive to asking a question of what's in it for the black people? So that's why we need the elders in the movement.
I was going to say, so, now I was listening to the Bigs yesterday, and they were talking about Vic Mensa and how he had gone off the deep end, and that he finally got some Chicago OGs in his corner, and they got him back to where he was. Mm-hmm. And I want to say Gene said, keep an OG in your corner. Keep an OG in your corner. Because they've seen a lot and they can kind of give you some advice and counsel. One of the things I would tell you that I learned in Chicago is that just like I was, like, you could put a dashiki on and have all the fight the powerness of you in the world. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times those people have learned how to co-op and manipulate the system. And so a lot of the people that are the most... That's why I don't do the whole mama, baba, all that crap. Because, quite frankly, the people that have risen that are those mamas and babas, and they have learned to work the system. And they've learned to be that conscious black voice that gets the youth, right? And so I would tell you that I watch on a regular basis. Shoot, I saw even in South Shore, like, when there were hardworking black youth, they were undercut by the traditional we are the mamas and babas of the community and blah blah blah, and it's like then they wind up competing with the young black people that are trying to do their thing in the marketplace because they want to install their own. So it's a real tricky situation. And the thing I would tell you in Chicago is that almost everybody is sat at the table. So like even those people that you think are your most nationalistic, blah 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 blah, if they fighting for county funding or state funding, then guess what? They playing the game too. Right? They're playing the game too, and they can write all the pro-black stuff they want, but you don't. How many pro-black people you see fighting against it? They got a board. They're on a commission. They're appointed to something because the whole premise is to co-opt everybody. So then you get the African American Family Studies Commission, and you put all the intellectuals there, but you got a way, and you give them a little salary, and then you got a way to go get them. So
yeah. Mayor Daley did that with schools when all these reform groups went after him. He hired them all at CPS.
Exactly, and now you that. What I would tell you is that it's hard for me to watch TV. It's hard for me to watch a press conference because I know you, right? Like, and I'm gonna say this. I'm going to say that I am pretty open and honest about what my past roles were. Right? I was a dark artist. What I found as a dark artist was that almost everybody was on the payroll in just a different way. Right? Whether it was, they could grab you through a board or a commission, right? So they put you on, you are now the chief Negro in front of black families and the study of the diaspora of the slave ship emancipation. Ungawa Black Power. Now I'm gonna hit you when I need you to be cool. I need you to, right? And so what I have come, it's like I'm the ultimate cynic because I look at the people. I'll be like, it's like, dog, I knew you win, and it's like I changed, you didn't, right? Like I got saved, you didn't. So you still, it's like, so part of the reason people avoid me is because we did dirt together. Right? We did. You were complicit. I done found the Lord. You still out in the clubs. Now you got to make me look like Noah, talking about it's raining and he crazy and he drunk, cause you don't want nobody to know like you out here at the Shake Shack. What you call it, the Sugar Shack?
The Sugar Shack.
And the Sugar Shack, the political Sugar Shack, right? Where black people get pennies and white people get billions, millions, right? But again, and then here's the other part. The other part is nobody wants to talk because it's like, that I know that that you ain't really as powerful as you purport to be. And the more that's exposed, the more offensive you become. Instead of saying, man, let me become powerful, let me work together in collaboration, I would prefer to be, I'm just telling you. So Ruthie, when we think about these movements and these big fights, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm skeptical oftentimes because I watch as the strategies that I have recommended before, or like I gave people playbooks and I watch them execute the playbook even without me, and it's like fullback dive left, the halfback is going right, they always go for the fullback. Right? We always go for the fullback. And I don't think that the black community has learned how to discern who is who in our community.
We have not.
And
I agree with you, Mace.
And so we think we get excited when a white person get on the team. We get excited when the mayor gives us our first little grant for $30,000. Let me tell you how they do you. This is what they do. They find you, somebody reach out to you, they touch you, they say, man, we like what you're doing. Let's get you a program. Teach you how to teach. I'm going to give you something, we're going to have you working. Then the next thing you working, you so busy working on the little job they gave you, or a little project, or now you are in charge of all the young black people. So now you running around knowing damn well you can't get all these cats herded, but you running around trying to be the chief of the black people. They gave you a title to send you off, and now you off distracted because you could have organized. I'm gonna just tell y'all, we really gotta have a real conversation. Ruthie, I really feel like it's important that we got to put some education on you. I'm gonna have to teach you the dark arts so you can just get your discernment together. Because I be seeing you with people, I be like, they gotta.
So there is a line between, I think, inclusivity and then like my commitment to black people. And I know you always talk about, Maze, how people always coming and co-opting. They always co-opting the movement. But what's wrong with a little inclusivity? That don't mean that don't water down my blackness.
I don't think so. I think that's my point. I think we have the opportunity to collaborate with everybody. Hey y'all, this is the Maze Jackson Show. We'll be back. When we come back, we're gonna talk to RNC. So
RNC
Chicago.
I think that
it's 8 o'clock.
Yeah. So I think that oh shit, let me hit this real quick.
You know what? I'm
back on the air.
3 to 6, Monday through Friday, starting September 8th.
All right, you tell somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody it's going down. Not only will you hear us on air, but you'll be able to see us as well. And that's all going down September 8th from 3 to 6.
What's in it for the Black People Media? Make sure you check us out.
Chicago famous.
Hi, I'm Dr. Willie Wilson. People in Illinois have been crying out for justice, equality, and fairness from their government for years. And it keeps getting worse. Unfair taxes, laws that unjustly imprison nonviolent offenders. The rich get richer, and the everyday people suffer. It's time for a change, and with your help, I'm here to do it. I'm asking for your support as I run for a U.S. Senator in 2020.
Paid for by Willie Wilson for Senate 2020.
What we looking like over there on social?
So we are looking good.
You got the camera, kid.
I mean, one thing that so Kang said inclusion can water you if you are not grounded.
I think you have to understand what their purpose of inclusion is.
Todd, can we move the needle on black society with just black people? Or do you feel like we need other people?
Yeah, you have to have allies. You have to have other people. I mean, I think that we can become powerful dealing with ourselves like 80% of the time. But yeah, you're going to have some outside help. For one thing, we're the minority, not the majority.
Do you think that if we increase our birth rates, that will help? No,
that just means more poor people. You know what the largest demographic of poor people are?
Who is it?
Children.
I can imagine.
No, we don't want to add to that.
Oh man.
I mean, more babies who don't have resources. That's not helping them.
Okay.
And we're not going to overtake the 70% anytime soon.
What about Latino populations?
Yeah, they're growing at a faster rate than us.
Are they also growing in poverty?
But I'm not sure if they are as unified as everyone thinks. Because, they come from all over. They come from Ecuador, they come from Colombia, they come from Mexico. I mean,
Good point. Even if they are not as unified, it still seems like they're able to unify around certain ideas.
I have seen, like, quote unquote, Hispanic Democrats. Mm-hmm. They're iffy on the Democrats. I mean, they will work with Republicans if they can get a big chunk of something. But I've seen them go to other states and they'll work with the Republican Hispanic. As long as he's Hispanic, they're like, let's get him elected.
Got it.
But there's a whole bunch of Hispanics who identify as white.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So.
And are pretty conservative in terms of. I guess I just don't like how the whole conversation around family values has been kind of like hijacked a little bit by like evangelical Christians, and then that's kind of like synonymous with conservatism. Because I don't think there's anything wrong with family values.
I feel like saying family values is a negative thing nowadays.
It's because it's associated with that.
I don't associate it with that. I associate it with, man, everything ain't okay. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I feel like we like, if you tell somebody that that's wrong, mm-hmm. like, you just believe that's just not it's like, how dare you? Like, how do I let me give you an example. So I would say, I am not I believe in traditional male and female gender roles. Mm-hmm. Not to say that I don't believe that women can't do, like, be elected and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But I believe that there are fundamental differences between men and women. And I think the more we move into this gender neutral, everything goes, it further damages our... I just don't feel like we can afford to be off experimenting into everything else in the world. It's like we ain't even got the basics. We don't even see each other and be like, I don't have a problem, but I feel like we put every other fucking issue in front of being like, they ain't shooting nobody because they gay. They not shooting nobody because they shooting you because you black. Like, and I just feel like we have taken on, I feel like we were more grounded spiritually. Now, I don't necessarily think church per se, but I think like everything that I knew growing up is bad now. Like, not bad, but it's questioned. Like, I do think that I messed up. I feel like I should have sent my kids to church, right? I really do. I feel like there was a lot I got out of church that I didn't necessarily agree with, but I think it made me a better person, right? I think that some of, like, Sunday school, some of the basic things.
You didn't send your kids to religion classes.
No, I didn't send them to religion classes, and I would not want to do that.
Didn't they go to Christ?
Christ the King?
Yeah.
Yeah, but what do you mean?
Everybody has, you have religion every year.
Oh, yeah, but that's not what I mean. I don't want somebody teaching them the white Bible. Like, and I don't mean the white Bible.
Well, that's the interesting thing about Catholic school is they don't try to convert you.
I got you.
They teach you about religion.
Here's me. There were innate things that I learned in the church, right? I think my values, even you can call them, and quite frankly, I'm glad I went to a Nazarene church, because if I didn't, I really would have no respect for churches at all, right? Like, I really wouldn't. Like, I feel like you could talk all the racial stuff and all that. I feel like these people thought they were in pursuit of God or in pursuit of perfection to be better people in the world. Mm-hmm. I think it puts I feel like church puts you are supposed to be a positive addition to the world. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like if you don't go to church, besides your parents, right, you don't really get that. Like, and I feel like church, it kind of ingrains in yourself. Come on, we'll have a church conversation later.
Church.
We can go. Looking at this generation feeling hopeless. You're beautiful inside. Hey, rise up, yeah. Don't you know you can fly? That's right, Chicago. You are listening to the Maze Jackson Show. So wake up, world. Wake up, Chicago. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd Stroger. Miss Sonia Escobar, music conductor, and Ruthie Moore, our social media manager. Now, let me tell y'all something. We need y'all to show us a little love today. We tried to raise these stars so we can pay these bills and keep this media format that we got. So we appreciate everybody that's showing us love. If you are watching us on Facebook Live, we want to thank everybody that has been sending us stars. Big shout out to Lunye Givens with the 10 today. My man Hassan El Amin, T. Renee, Malika Ayuba. Shout out to Twin, Cheapo. What up, Maria Munoz? What up, Mark Allen, Kenny Cool, Arnett. Wait. I missed Arnetta and DS Sanders. DS back in the building. Hey, y'all. Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson, Todd Stroger, Miss Ruthie Moore, and Sonia Escobar. Hey, did you all see the RNC last night? Anybody watch the Republican National Convention last night?
I was looking for it, and I couldn't find it, so I stopped.
I watched it on YouTube. I couldn't watch it live, though, Maze.
I can't. First of all, I didn't watch it live because it's just... Okay, so I really was watching Chicago tonight when we got a text alert.
You know what? I looked at Chicago tonight and it was like some kind of message. I guess I got there too late or something, but nothing was on.
Oh, I don't know what happened. Maybe.
I saw it.
We watched it. But you live on you live on South. You live South. Right, you live out south. They be like, man,
I know they don't get
niggas don't need no cable. Them niggas don't need no cable.
We got a nice community.
People get more things.
Todd, we live in a very nice ward.
Oh, we do.
You do. Oh, y'all live in the same ward?
But we still black.
Could y'all do me a favor? We got a house in that ward. Could y'all get the street fixed? We've been having these cracked sidewalks for about 6 months.
Where is it?
I don't want to say it because then they're going to be like, I tell you.
You don't live there. Nobody ever noticed you.
You need to put your 311 request in.
First of all, we call my Alden.
We did it. The ward did a street that has been broken for around where I live. That's been broken for probably the last 5 years, so I was pretty happy.
Okay. Well, I'm being silly. I'm going to stop being messy. All right. I'm going to be messy. Just can't help it. Some days.
Can't help it.
I can't help it. I can't help it. If I wanted to, I couldn't help it. Even if I could, I couldn't help it. Do-do-do-do-do. Let me do the remix.
No. Now that Michael Jackson merchandise was popping.
What Michael Jackson?
Remember when Jesse Jackson Jr. talked about the hip hop auction and like what's of value? And
yeah.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah, he had a Michael Jackson
glove, right? Did he
buy the glove?
He bought the glove. I hope he didn't use that glove after I saw that movie. I don't know where that glove is.
What? I don't want to know nothing else.
I don't know what's going on. Let me tell you this. All right, so. The RNC happened last night, and I was watching Chicago tonight. And I'm going to be honest with y'all, I was going to try to check out Melania. Mm-hmm. And it felt like, when I listen to Melania, I feel like it's Boris and, you got any Melania? Yeah, she's like, I feel like the Russians have taken over our country, and don't you worry, your president will take care of you, and you will all be okay, and we must all fly away. And I just was looking out the window like, dang, is it gonna be like Red Dawn? She was like, yes, I am. Let me hear some of that audio, Sonia, from to yourselves and your own families.
Put our country first.
You put our country first.
My husband and I.
My husband and I
have been moved by the way Americans have come together in such an unfamiliar and often frightening situation. It is in times like this that we will look back and tell our grandchildren that through kindness and compassion,
we took over the United States.
We were able to restore the promise peaks of our future. Businesses stepped up and volunteers stepped in. People were eager to share ideas, resources, and support of all kinds with neighbors and strangers alike.
All kinds of these people.
It has been inspiring to see what the people of our great nation will do for one another, especially when we are at our most fragile.
Aha! See, I tell you, I feel like we are going to wake up one day, Todd, And we are going to see hammers and sickles everywhere in the country, because I am telling you, she felt very much like, you know.
I grew up in the Cold War.
Me too.
As a kid. All the way till I was an adult.
Me too.
Pretty much.
I remember when Gorbachev had the ham chop on his head. Go ahead.
So I would joke that, you know, I was going to do anything I wanted in America, because what the heck, unless we're speaking Russian, you know, this stuff is going to be worth something.
Well, she's speaking Russian very closely. I'm telling you.
Where's she from again?
Ukraine. She's from Hustler magazine, from what I hear.
That is not a place.
Shoot, ask the brothers in jail.
Tell Larry Flint that, right?
Right. You know what? I mean, I'm just saying.
Did. I'm not sure.
Just thinking about this, okay?
Even Melania Trump cannot humanize Donald Trump.
Is Melania Trump humanizable? I mean, I'm saying, you got on American TV and talked in almost like a Russian. I was waiting for Boris.
I heard somebody, I read someone on Facebook say that she was trying to tell white people, don't worry about it. We'll take care of these black people.
Don't you worry about those black people. We'll put them in the ovens like we did before.
Jeez, I didn't say all that. But I'm always worried. Head on a swivel.
Alright. But I was so enough with the Melania.
How do you like that other lady who said she wanted the police to pull over her black son because she don't know what he might be doing?
She's saying that, but y'all know it's some of them black people y'all want them to pull over too, right?
No,
you know,
no.
Hold on.
Here you go, Maze.
That's like when Terry Peterson told me he worked for People's Gas and he's walking around in his uniform, and the police would pull up and they say, "We got calls about you."
I told you
when he was up north, I should say.
Oh yeah, cause big black man, Terry. You know how big Terry Peterson is? That's a big black dude. I would say Terry Peterson. I mean, it's like he's huge. All right, so check this out. We also saw yesterday though, and I gotta ask y'all: was it the ultimate pander yesterday? Did President Trump pull the ultimate pander? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Sonia, play the clip.
Now I'd like to invite John's wife, Jamie, to join. Thank you, sir. And all of Las Vegas and all of Nevada and all of every place in this country is very proud of you. The job you've done bringing people back. And you're right, I was supposed to be there for 5 minutes. I stayed for an hour and a half because it was so interesting to me. Congratulations to both.
Thank you, sir.
Richard, thank you very much for the job you do. Thank you. It's fantastic. Thank you.
That was Simon.
Right. He got the White House, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Now,
who was the guy he released?
He released the gentleman that he released was John Ponder. John Ponder was a Ruthie. I know you got your get up, pull it up. Mm-hmm. What you got? So So let me just start by saying this. First of all, was it the ultimate pander by literally pardoning a black man during the during the RNC? Now,
he's the greatest showman on earth. Okay,
so now here's what I'm saying. Do you have the clips of his speech that I was looking for? Because I think I put some notes on there. If you look at 357 and if you go to 10 to 1046, right? Those are where you could probably find. Start at 347. But I'm gonna tell you that I have a feeling that black people two things. I think some people called and was like, oh my God, because they did like a whole video montage of the guy. He had gone to jail. He told his story about how he had been robbing and been committing crimes. Like, instead of like Tim Scott going from cotton, he went from prison to being released and then turning his life around in prison because he asked the Lord to ask the judge to grant him forgiveness. The judge granted him forgiveness and said, I'm going to do something I'm not supposed to, and because he had robbed a bank, and gave him a more lenient sentence. He was supposed to go for like 23 years. He gave him a lenient sentence. When he got out, he went to work helping ex-offenders. And eventually the FBI agent that locked him up endorsed him and co-signed him in his program. The president found out about the program that he had for ex-offenders, went to visit it for 5 minutes and wound up staying for an hour. Yesterday, he gave him a full pardon. And it was a lot in that about redemption. There was a lot in, and I was thinking about because I posted, I said, boy, this is the ultimate pander, right? I knew black people like, he ain't doing nothing but pandering, letting that black man out, giving him a pardon, make him stay there and be criminal forever, right? Hold on. So then
he was already out, but
he was already out, but he got a pardon, right? Then I was listening to Trump going through his thing about, I've let ex-offenders out. I'm seeing Trump is letting people who may have been convicted over things, etc., out. A lot of people. Mm-hmm. And he talked about his redemption and how he was going to keep fighting for returning citizens and all of that. And he talked about continuing redemption. And I thought about how black people were like, this dude is pandering. And then I thought about, as I listened to the president was saying a lot of the things that I have heard the ex-offender community in Chicago talk about. First of all, I want to know, do you think it was the ultimate pander? Are we ready for redemption actually of our returning citizens? And even as we scoff or dog the guy who got the pardon as the ultimate pander, how many of our returning citizens saw themselves there or saw hope in the fact that President Trump was letting people out? Then my question is he making a full-on play for our warrior class and we're completely sleeping on it? Look, y'all, this is the Maze Jackson Show. We'll be back after. We'll be back in just a second. We got messages, we got a couple stories, and then we're back. We ready? Let's go. I'm sorry.
First, they ain't our warrior class, the people in jail. Just because you decide to go to jail don't make you no damn warrior. It makes you a jail person.
It depends on what you went to jail for.
I have achieved many goals.
Bank robbery?
So I think okay. So I'm a classify it as warrior class for in the most positive way I could think of. Okay, so that's how I'm gonna characterize it for right now.
Okay.
Let's say they have warrior capabilities.
Yes.
With no ideology. Right?
That just makes you dangerous.
To who?
To everybody.
Exactly. But if I let you go, if I am the one who is the person who has been your champion, when you've been in every Democratic, all the people, Joe Biden locked you up, all that stuff, and I'm just saying, those small groups wield way more. I gotta stop referring to I said what I said. But this is the can you whoop my ass premise. So if Trump had the bikers,
that's why black people are that's I should say. That's one of the reasons we're in the problem we're in now. I thought about that just recently. We are supposed to think that our go-to is, can you whoop my ass? Well, maybe you can. But while you're in lockup, wondering, okay, now what I'm going to do?
I think
and they're trying to figure out how to keep you there forever.
So let me take this a different way, because I think you can, like, here's my thing. Like, practically it's fucking happening. It's like, here's what I say. Like, we sitting up here, like, again, if you have been an ex-offender and you have been ignored by the Democrats your whole entire life, I'm telling you, there's no place for black men in the Democratic Party. Trump gets on national TV and pardons a man, and then gets on and talks about redemption and that we're going to keep fighting for our ex-offender community, and we're going to, and they have the capabilities. Whether you like the whole concept of can you whoop my ass or not, whether you like it or not, that's not the point. It's can it be imposed. So now, when you think about, if you were to say, if Trump was to activate, he could activate the police, he could activate the let's say the white supremacists. In our community, who could he activate? He could activate the returning citizen community, which, how many black men are there, right? And so while we're right now, and I'm just telling you, even as you have this conversation,
they don't have no loyalty to him. I don't care if he let him out or not. What is the rule of street hustle, Ruthie?
Eat or be eaten?
No. It's all about me. If I think about you, somebody gonna get me one day.
That's not true. That's not true. That is not the rule of street hustling. The rule of it, that, let me back up. That is sometimes that's sometimes how it plays out. But when people join organizations, they join an organization for the bond of all the people. So again, if I told you I would sign a piece of paper that said I would be a felon for the rest of my life to go home, if you know you locked up for 30 years and somebody say, yo, we need you to come back and we need you to go to war with the people that locked you up. And I'll empower you. And I'll give you space in your own community to run, to move around. It is no different to me than the same thing. So, say what you want to say. You can denigrate that class. You can say all the shit you want. But the motherfuckers that will come knocking on your door, that will be like, can you kick my ass though?
You know, if it gets down to that kind of war, don't think that there ain't some roughnecks who are living down the street from me, who are not part of that group.
I'm not. I think here's what I'm saying. I think what I think everybody like. I'm not trying to compete with you. I'm not trying to say there won't be a fight. I'm suggesting that you are watching as someone is making a direct appeal to the people that you denigrate, right? That you look at as less than as the problem. So if I've been told, it's like the kid that gets bad attention. You can say he's a fuck up. You can say everything you want. He still is going to be a disruptor, and he still has the ability to disrupt. Now, if he has no allegiance, he comes back and he has nothing, and I say, I'm going to give you this, and you can go lord over the places where you were already locked up, because I don't really care about those communities anyway. So go have at it.
We've seen that already. This would be historically, this would be a replay of Nixon giving Jeff Ford.
That's my fucking point. Right. It happened. Like, I'm saying, like, it's happened, and he won. And I'm saying, y'all saw the same thing happen, and while everybody's saying how stupid.
He didn't win because of them, though.
Do you understand? Like, the people who have the ability to do the most damage in your neighborhoods willingly, who are willing to do it, are not under your influence. That's all I'm saying. Let's go live. It's like
the presidents either, though. That's my point.
They are if you let me out. Do you see all these black people running around here talking about Trump right now?
They had no loyalty to the president. They had loyalty.
They had loyalty to the mug who let them out.
They had loyalty to the group, just like you said.
I just let your group out. Yeah, I just think y'all. Okay, keep
all the president was a mark.
How did it work out for our community?
Crappy.
Bam. And who got reelected?
Nixon.
And okay, that's all my point is. Like, you proving my point. You. Hey y'all, this is the Maze Jackson Show. Sonia, can you play some of that audio from Trump, from the speech yesterday? If you got anything on redemption, that would really be great. Oh, you play? That's my girl, Sonia. Check this out. Here's President Trump on redemption and the returning citizens community. Go ahead.
2 years ago, I was honored to tell John Ponder's story of transformation in the Rose Garden on the National Day of Prayer. Today, I'm thrilled to welcome him back to the White House. John's life is a beautiful testament to the power of redemption. John grew up without his father. As he tells it, my mother was strong, but she wasn't able to keep us out of the gangs and off of the streets, and they were violent streets. At the age of 38, he was arrested for bank robbery. While John was in prison, he began reading the Bible and listening to Christian radio. One day he heard Reverend Billy Graham on the radio proclaim, "Jesus wants to be Lord of your life." On that day, John dedicated his life to Christ. He spent the rest of his time in prison studying the Bible. When he was released, he heard a knock at his door. It was the officer who put him in jail, FBI Special Agent Richard Beasley, who said, "I want you to know that I've been praying for you." Now, Richard and John are best friends, and we are grateful that Richard is here with us today. In the last 10 years since John was released, he has created one of the most successful reentry programs, Hope for Prisoners in Las Vegas. I was glad to speak there earlier this year. As John says, Hope for Prisoners is a movement that began as a dream in a tiny prison cell and is now making a difference in the lives of thousands, truly bringing hope that there is an opportunity and a community that is waiting and willing to offer them a second chance. John, we honor your devotion to showing returning citizens that they are not forgotten. We believe that each person is made by God for a purpose. I will continue to give all Americans, including former inmates, the best chance to build a new life and achieve their own American dream. And a great American dream it is.
So let me just say this. I think you could call it the ultimate pander. But I think if I fit in that community, which in my estimation is a significant space for black men, and I'm going to tell you, as I told you, as the Democrats continue to make these appeals to black women, much love to all the sisters, to get to the number that they need to get to, they're going to need black men. Talk to me about your thoughts on, because that speech, the returning citizen, redemption, all of those things, those are all topics. You might not like the messenger who delivers them, but those are all, like, that almost came straight. You know who that sounded like to me?
Who?
I feel like that was, like, I could have got that from Mark Carter. I could have got that from Paul. I could have got that from any of the brothers that have been active and vociferous in ex-offenders, in the ex-offender, returning citizens issues. I'm going to also tell you that story of the black man who was involved in a life of crime and blood, that's the story in church service on Sunday morning in 300 and something corners of storefront churches of black men who are trying to find their way back. And then this guy becomes that success story. Now let me ask you.
That guy found Christ.
How many returning citizens come home and first thing they do is go to church?
And how many times they keep going?
Okay, so I would say you're not.
I don't know.
I'm going to say that you are in the no redemption category.
No, I'm saying that your theory that they're going to come back and join their old life, which is what they would have to do to be part of this group that's going to go out and do something, is a little flawed. And if they are going back to join the group, they're not going back to join to be great citizens. They're just going back because this is what they know. This guy John escaped because he joined something different.
I think so. Here's what I think. Two things. I think that I'm going to look at this from a messaging standpoint, as I am looking to win the presidency of the United States. And I'm going to say that if I am trying to reach black men, right? If I'm just straight trying to reach black men, you can talk all to Jesus Christ, you can talk all the stuff you want about him going to church or whatever, you can talk about where they go, what they do after, but I think if I'm talking in immediacy right now, and I am talking to black men, how many black men in Chicago have had an experience with the system, right? They feel like they have been trapped, they have been excluded from it, and even as we discuss this situation, we discuss it as if they can't be redeemed. Now, I'm going to say,
anybody can be redeemed, but you gotta want it.
And so I'm suggesting that, is there anyone who believes that, do you think in your heart of hearts that anybody who went to, not anybody, 90% of the people who come home feel like they are redeemed? Now, I don't know what they've done. I don't know. Or they feel like, or if you went to jail and you paid your price, that's your redemption, right? Like, I have a whole nother set of that, but I feel like if you damaged the community, did you repair it? Did you come back? How did you make amends with that community? But that's a whole nother thing. I think.
Oh, you know what that goes into? That's that when you kill somebody and then, or you don't have to kill them. Maybe you just shot them and they come back and while you're in jail, you get a dialogue with them.
Yeah.
You ever seen that?
Yeah, I have. I'm not doing that though.
like restorative justice.
Yeah, restorative justice.
Restorative justice.
So again, here right now, we're arguing against restorative justice, even as Kim, and all I'm saying is,
I'm not arguing against restorative
justice. Did the president?
I'm arguing against President Trump.
And again, so imagine if you're a black man who has been in the system,
okay,
and you're listening to Todd say, I'm arguing against President Trump, and you're the black man that was the guy who was in the system, right? And you like, damn, I can't get a driver's license. I'm trying to get redeemed. I paid my price, and I can't. He just made a direct appeal to them. Now,
we're pretty good in Illinois, though, aren't we?
Ask the black people from Illinois. I would say no. Like, I wouldn't say, I would say, like, if you've been to jail, have you ever had a call, have you ever taken a collect call from somebody from jail?
Man, I've got a few.
But have you taken it? And then have you looked at your bill?
I don't take a collect call from anybody.
Exactly. So again, help me understand, was that a pander? And should I really want to talk to my black ex-offender community, right? Because I feel like President Trump made a direct appeal to them. And it's almost like we in this mug discount. I feel like we're discounting the concept that, President Trump has let people out of jail. He basically said to everybody that I did Joe Biden locked you up. I'm undoing the stuff that he did. I think he's...
Boy, that's so simplistic, especially since Joe Biden did not commit the crime, he wasn't the prosecutor, and he wasn't the judge.
And I'm going to just tell you, just like this, Todd. So, Todd, I feel like you fit in the Ruthie box right now. I really want to let Ruthie have you. Because
Ruthie has been quiet, so
I'm reading social. I'm sourcing social.
Okay, so why don't you bring us up to date. Now, let's do this. Let's take a quick break. I'm gonna open up the phone lines. The phone number is 872-259-7474. And when we come back, we're gonna hear what Ruthie got to say, and then we're gonna find out why Todd is wrong. This is the Maze Jackson Show. We'll be back.
The Maze Jackson Show. We'll be back after this break.
This secure moment is brought to you by Secure Home and Automation, your premier authorized Bring security dealer. Home invasions occur every 23 seconds, fire every 85 seconds, and medical emergencies occur suddenly. In times like these, get secured home and automation and an affordable wireless home alarm system with professional monitoring. This includes fast emergencies response, free security analysis, free equipment, and free installation. A limited time offer, be proactive. Call today, don't delay. 708-251-5069. That's 708-251-5069. The first 10 callers receive a free camera valued at $250. Call now.
Okay, y'all, the phones are open.
251-5069. Or visit our website, Secure Home.
So do we want redemption? So should if you were an ex-offender, should you find hope in that message? A returning citizen? Should you ignore that? Like, if you're a returning citizen, like, I'm gonna just be honest with you. I feel like we don't like the... Back up. I think that we are underestimating. Todd, I don't think that everybody is gonna come home and reform their organization and then take over the world and be a fighting organized group. I don't think that. I think what could potentially happen is that those people that have been ignored, played, kicked to the curb, who feel like they fit in that category, can find an identification somewhere in the Trump space, right? Like, they like, somebody spoke to me. Nobody has spoken to the ex-offender community directly in my estimation, ever. And I think that because it's just like LeBron James. Like, nobody wants to play on LeBron James and the Miami Heat until LeBron calls you and says, I want you to be on my team. To say to you, you have value. So you ignoring me. You ain't said nothing to me. I get negative attention from somebody. Whether he's an abuser or not, he shows me love. He shows me and he says, man, I don't need you to go tear up the world and be organized, but man, within your sphere of influence, F them Dems, right? Whether it is not suppressing the vote, but man, within your sphere of influence, using whatever tactics and tools you can. I sent you home. I tell you, when they brought the piece of paper to me, and again, being locked up, they brought me a piece of paper that basically I could have signed, and I would have signed my future away as a person because I wanted to go home. Now, if you got me locked up for 20 years and you say I got 35 more, but if you sign this paper, or if you down with Trump and Trump will listen to your appeal, I couldn't get heard through Obama. I couldn't get heard through Bush. I couldn't get heard through Clinton. And now this white mango Mussolini, you done dealt with every cracker ass white security guard that don't think nothing about you, all of that. And then you got the guy that everybody's telling you is the most racist dude in the world saying, hey man, I believe in your redemption, I'm gonna let you go. What I am suggesting is we're in a very convenient space, which is to be like, man, you got to go home. You know what freedom is like. You get to do whatever. Somebody comes and frees you from jail. Like, hey, Joe, you got my... What we need to do?
Man, dude was out already.
Who?
John.
Who?
John, who we parked. He was already out.
I got you. You're talking about John. I'm talking about the speech. I'm talking about if I'm listening, if I'm hearing that, fuck John. I'm talking about what does the guy who is sitting in his house see? What does he hear? He says, damn, this man just said redemption for me from the same people who won't even give me a driver's license. That's all I'm saying. And I'm saying that we know we created a criminal justice system that has not been fair, right? So trust me, the people in it, whether they was criminals or not, do not think they were treated fairly. And if somebody says, and even if they weren't treated fairly, when you come home, you deserve the right to be straight, and I'm gonna try and help you in my position of power, and ain't nobody said nothing like that, I'm just saying. You are listening to the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd Stroger, as well as Miss Ruthie Moore. So let me ask you, first of all, you all saw John Ponder. He was given a pardon by President Trump for his work with the ex-offender and returning citizens community. Todd, my belief is that one of my favorite statements is nobody wants to play for LeBron James and the Miami Heat until LeBron James and the Miami Heat call you. I have not heard anyone talk specifically to the returning citizen community. I hear we talk about the crime bill, we talk about criminal justice reform, we talk all around the situation, but we rarely ever talk about the people and the opportunity for redemption when they return. Right? It's like it's a sexy, it's like when in Chicago, because we had a very vociferous returning citizen community, right? Like Mark, Paul, those guys used to be in your face. I think it hit the radar. But on a national level, I think criminal justice reform was a cute thing to say, right? And you got the black state's attorneys and district attorneys that got elected and dealt with wrongful convictions, right? And even in that mix, what if you were one of the people we were the wrongful conviction capital of the world? right? So what if you was one of those people that were convicted and it's like you got out, they gave you $1 million, but you spent 35 years in jail. I mean, that's a regular story here. Mm-hmm. And nobody really talks to that. No Democrat really speaks to that. And I'm going to say that when you think about the black male, I think that you got the police that we've got this criminal, how we put it, we've got the police and defunding issue, but we've also got the criminal justice reform. And I think there's going to be a hard line to walk for, especially for a Joe Biden. Not because he hasn't changed or anything, but I think that he's got a candidate who is making a direct appeal to the people who were negatively impacted by that. Ruthie, talk to me. What are they saying on social, and what are your thoughts on this thing? Because the ultimate pander, but I know if I was the guy and if I got a pardon, I just think that, I'm sorry, last thing. When I hear him tell his story, when we heard Ponder tell his story, that is the Sunday morning church story of the guy who came home from jail and is now going to church trying to get his life together. That was the same thing that I heard when I heard that guy. What you got, Ruthie?
All right, so 2 ex-offenders with social comments. So James said, our community has never been prepared for the returning of ex-offenders. I came home 25 years ago. The group Maze is referring to are the same ones doing the scams, loan fraud, and those Cash App boards. If they can get some money from it, they are going to, even if it is destroyed as a hold. So basically, ignore. It was just lip service.
Okay.
And then secondly, Jerry said, I will say that I'm an ex-offender, and the current reentry programs are a joke. They only want certain types of people, mainly young drug offenders, because they know that it's a revolving door.
So James, is that James Say? S-E-A-Y? No?
No.
Okay. So I guess, lip service as it relates to, so redemption, are we prepared for redemption of our returning citizens? Like, how do we think of them? Like, are we prepared realistically? And do we even have the compassion for them? Or is it something that we want to push to the side?
What we don't have, from what I see, is we don't have a place to put them where they can be productive. I mean, it's not like, a lot of employment.
Well, sure, there ain't a lot of employment for people who ain't been to jail.
Well, I hear that argument from people too, who are like, "Why is all the money going to those guys?"
Well, and I think that it's a crazy situation because I feel like they get manipulated. I feel like they're like the sexy story to say, look what we've done. But realistically, how many people are thriving? But I think it's symptomatic of our community. Sonia, see if you can find Van Jones's response to this. So.
It seems like Trump likes a certain type of black man, though. Like, you got to be kind of like religious a little bit, and it seems like those are the ones that he likes.
I think I got people I like. I think he has people that fit the narrative. So here's what I think. I first of all don't argue over which white boy is racist or not. Right? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say that whatever Trump is doing is going to be based in some racial stereotype, some racial, or some target demographic that he's trying to reach.
The docile black man.
I wouldn't consider the black man that went to jail and is out fighting for his community as docile.
But the ones that Trump seems to like are the evangelical Christian types. The religious types.
I can see that, but let me ask a question.
There's a certain piece associated with that.
Okay, who do the Democrats like? Gay black men.
We talking about the
but again, where is the place for the black man? So now here's what you saying.
Who's a gay black man?
Every damn body. Seriously, name the last straight black man that got promoted by the party.
Oh, you mean here?
Here in the country, give me a straight black man they promoted besides Barack. And on that note, we're going to take a quick break and wrap this thing up when we come back. It is the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze. We got Ruthie and Todd, Sonia Escobar on the wheels.
I'm going to find some names. I'm going to Google some stuff.
I'm saying, it's like everybody wants, nobody wants a strong black man that his shit swinging.
I can't see Okay, so let me ask you this, Maze. So with the type of black man that you are, right? It seem like a Trump wouldn't be rocking with you.
First of all, I wouldn't be trying to rock with Trump. I think I would understand him and be transactional. Mm-hmm. Like, so I'm not trying to rock with him. I'm like, yo, this is what I'm trying to get out you. This is what we on. And I feel like he could rock with me because it would be a transaction. It wouldn't be a, look, I'm going to do this, but this is what I want for it. And I'm going to tell y'all what we're doing and what we get out of it. I don't think there's anywhere where white people like strong black men with opinions. Nowhere. So don't tell me that in the world of Trump that he don't like strong black men, but then you go to the Democratic Party and every black dude that's up is gay or progressive, right? They don't want nobody. The people who resonate the most with black folks. Mm-hmm. Again, if that was the case, Ruthie, they would be all over us right now, advertising, right? Like they don't want no strong. If you want to talk to black people, the last place that any of them white dudes is coming is where a nigga is gonna look you in the eye and ask you the shit and be like, I don't. Mm-hmm. The biggest problem I feel like I got with in this space is I'm not scared to look a white boy in the eye, right, and tell him you ain't right, I don't agree, etc. I feel like, and I don't have to go off. Like you could say some stupid shit, right? Like I feel like I could be in a space and a white boy could be like nigga, and I'm gonna be just like this. I still want my motherfucking money. Like I ain't finna go off the deep end, do whatever the hell you want to do, but I'm gonna tell you what, dog. Cause what you really want is to get me off my square. You don't want to give me the bag. What you want me to do is go storm off and go pick it, and you go on vacation. No, let me tell you what. I done been called everything, but at the end of the day, after you call me everything, pay me my fucking money. And I just think strong black men are not a desirable trait until you want to get out your car and it's raining.
Here you go, Maze. You can't conflate the relationship between black women and black men and then black men and larger white society. Those are two total different things.
Black women, I think we all I think there is, and I think it goes back through generations. I want it to change. But I do believe that I think black women support black men in a way that allows them to pat themselves on the back for being supportive. I think they enjoy the concept of I ain't have to have no man to do blah 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 blah. Right?
Black women do not enjoy that. That has become a necessity.
No, it's not.
That has become a necessity because there's not a lot of black men, and I know that you push back against this narrative, Maze, all the time. But if black men are supposed to be the head of our households and leading our communities, then we need y'all to step up.
I think if we have to compete. Let's talk about that. Let's say that one because I think that's.
We only got like 5 minutes.
Ain't no love.
Vociferous.
Hey y'all, we're gonna wrap this thing up. I think that the Republicans. I think if you're frustrated, and I think there's a lot of black men. Particularly, but I think there's a lot of black people that are frustrated with the Democratic Party. I think that the Republicans are figuring out a way to hone in on just enough, right? They only need a sliver. They only need a sliver. Now, I want to know, how did you all take it? Here's what Van Jones had to say. By the way, Van Jones has worked with President Trump on some other issues. But let's talk about this one right now on criminal justice reform. Let's hear what Van Jones had to say about it last night.
I just wish there were more of them. There are so many people like him who are deserving. So many people have turned their lives around. And I work with this White House, I work with the Obama White House, I work with many governors to get more of that to happen. So it's a very good thing to show the country that redemption is possible. But I think it cheapens it when you do it in a political convention and you do it in a political way, because then it begins to look like you're just doing it as a stunt. And so for me, you're sitting here torn. That is a beautiful story. That man, as Jake Tapper said many times, he is deserving. But what we need to do is fix the whole pardon and clemency process, make it rational, take it out of the Department of Justice, put it in the White House, and let's get a lot of people home and do a good job. But I don't think it's appropriate to do it at a political convention, because I think you take up something that's very sacred. It's a sacred power the president has. Only the executive has it. And you wind up cheapening it, and you're using it as a political stunt when I don't think that is necessary.
So I could see it being taken as a political stunt, but I also think that there's a lot of people who want that stunt on them. Mm-hmm. Right? Let me do this because we only got a few more minutes. Ruthie, give me closing thoughts on that.
I think in conclusion, I'm just joking. I think it's so hard because just like yesterday, sometimes when people affiliate themselves with Trump, we do shoot the messenger. And so there is power in redemption. Our brothers deserve, and our sisters who are locked up deserve second chances. It's just hard for us to hear that type of stuff coming out of the RNC.
Does it come better from Joe Biden? I mean, seriously. So Joe Biden was a champion of the law. How does it come off from Joe? Talk to me.
It depends on how Joe says it.
Okay. You ain't black if you don't agree. Got you. All right, I see where you at. Todd? Todd?
Jeez,
go ahead.
I'm afraid that Ruthie just got a body shot.
Go ahead.
Todd,
they think they outside right now.
No, I think he was pandering, of course. I mean, that's what people do when they're trying to win people over. I doubt if he really struck a chord with the group he was trying to talk to. I don't think they were probably really paying that much attention to him, to be honest with you.
I think we're going to see that clip ad nauseum all over. And I bet you that right now, prisons around the country, his brother's standing up like, yeah, I'm going home. And I'm going to tell you, I'm just telling you, Trump gave some brothers some hope. More hope than Obama did. He did. I mean, I'm just telling you. Donald Trump gave...
No, that's not Trump's base, though. You got to talk to them, too.
I think he's talking to them. You should have watched the whole thing. You watched the whole thing. It's clear who he's talking to. Right? But it's like...
Oh, so you're saying he said, wink, wink.
No, I'm saying that when you're an ex-offender or when you are locked up, you have to figure out the way to survive. Right? Mm-hmm. And there's a whole bunch of different things, and you got to make it past the Aryan Nation. Well, you probably beat the Aryan Nation up. But what I'm suggesting is that, what do they say politics makes strange bedfellows?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Politics makes strange bedfellows. And I'm just going to say that if, I had another joke there, but I'm going to let that one be because I don't want no problems. But while I say politics makes strange bedfellows, I just think we are underestimating. I think the blind rage of Democrats against Trump may make them underestimate where he's carving out niches. Remember, he's not playing for... He needs 2 out of 10 black people not to vote for Joe Biden. Right? One, if you're talking to Ruthie, that's 1 out of 10. She like, no. She like, I'm gonna tell you, we gonna get a tally. Ruthie gonna have ran a whole presidential campaign. We gonna be like, who are all these damn write-in votes? Then you got, so I think that we gotta just pay attention to Donald Trump courting our warrior class. Mm-hmm. Now, you may not want to see them as a warrior class. I think it's an easier way to categorize that group. And again, when politics makes strange bedfellows, don't be surprised who comes knocking on your door talking about they supporting Trump. Hey y'all, this is the Maze Jackson Show. And Trump likes strong men, right? He likes dictators. He likes those. He likes the tough guys.
He likes sycophants.
Okay. That's a big word. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna Google that and
you
tell
know what that is. Yes man.
Yes man.
You're right.
Right. Well, you know what? You can be yes man as long as you got your own area to run. It's the Maze Jackson Show. So for my co-host Todd Stroger, for Miss Ruth and more, I'm gonna tell y'all we starting the Ruthie cam tomorrow because them faces have been great. For Sonia Escobar, I am the host of the Maze Jackson Show and asking the question every single day. If you don't like it, still tell them. Oh. The question is, what's in it for the black people? And if you don't like it, you can still tell them. He said, we out of here. Peace.
AM 1570, WBGX.
Yeah, Ruthie's face is like, I'm 30-something. I need a future. I can't answer this question.
What?
We are just living.
Not just anything special.
Okay, so I just think, this is what I think.
Just living in strange times.
I think that Donald Trump knows that there is a disgruntled group of black men. Mm-hmm. And he is shooting fire shots at them. Mm-hmm. Do you remember when I told you when I was coming up, we thought Rakim was a part of our organization because he had a stars and crescent moons and all of that stuff?
No, right? I never heard that one.
So I thought we used to watch videos and we used to think that 5%ers from New York were part of our, right? And then we would also think that other people doing stuff would be doing signs that were hand signs or things in Chicago that meant something. Okay. So we was like, man, he talking to us. So like all the brothers thought that Rakim, right? Because he had the pyramid, he had the right? So they all was like, man, Rakim is an El Rookin', right? That's what people in Chicago thought. So Rakim ain't never talked. Well, I'm not gonna say he ain't never, but we thought, not we, but they thought that he was talking to them. So whether he wasn't thinking no parts of him, you like, man, he talking to me. And I feel like it's the whole concept of no one talks directly to the ex-offender community. They talk around it. They talk, and so if somebody's like me hearing somebody say Mazon, right? Like I never hear my name ever. So if somebody says it and they get it right, and it, don't God help me if it's spelt the same way, me and you friends, right? Like that's my, like Leo Mazzoni, the baseball manager. His last name was spelled Mazzone. That was the closest ever that anybody was to my name that I ever saw it in print, anything like that, besides me getting it put in. So I always identify with him. Now he was with the Braves and all that, and I mean, but I was always like, man, he's one of my favorite coaches because he did something that was familiar to me. He ain't have no clue. I ain't never watched no baseball games, but that was my guy. And you know how we talk about best friend in my head? That's a real thing, right? And so if you have never heard anybody say your name, you've never been anywhere, and then all of a sudden you've been downtrodden, and then all of a sudden you wake up, you look up and do like, and people you know is going home, the First Chance Act, everybody sitting in the stuff, they ain't saying First Chance Act because of Hakeem Jeffries. They saying Trump got a way to let brothers out of jail. And I'm suggesting to you that, what the fuck is that? Who is that? Oh, she interviewing somebody. And I'm suggesting to you that I think the guy is crazy like a fox. I do. I don't think he's as stupid as everybody thinks. I mean, he won the presidency, right? I think that he was the genius to use social media because he recognized that why the fuck do I gotta pay 2, 5, 7, and 9 if y'all gonna report off my tweets? I get 23 million. You go to sleep and wake up, I send a message overnight, you wake up and you got a personal message from President Trump. Because when you get tweets and it says at Todd Stroger, you don't see, oh my God, you think like, damn, I got a tweet from the president, especially if you some hillbilly and wherever. Now imagine then you put somebody wise, like if it's me, I take that message, I give it to somebody like Mark, right? Who has the gift of gab, who can convince people, who can be persuadable, and I put him on the road. and I say, man, you go organize ex-offender communities around the thing. Here, we'll give you the president, and just even in the red states, in a place like Wisconsin, in a place like Pennsylvania, in a place where where there's high urban and they lock up a lot of people, right? You go there and you have an evangelist that can go tell you all the same stuff, and you're in that space. I just think and there are people who get it, right? They ain't gonna invest in a whole bunch. I think you're smart. I just think we are very so willing to. I think we are almost blinded by our disdain for Trump that we just be like, that can't work. No, that's not. I'm gonna tell you like this: it's a lot of mad niggas out here. It's a lot of people who feel like, man, and it's just like the same people who would go up and tear up something because they mad. It's like they want to just blow up the system as it exists. I think there are people who feel that way politically. I'm going to tell you, I turn on the TV and it's like, there are plenty of people, if y'all stand up here and tell me, and this is just how I feel, if y'all stand and y'all willing here to tell me that y'all gonna not say nothing to Mike Madigan at all, this is just, and it's me, at all, and then y'all gonna let this mug who has robbed us all come up and tell us about Donald Trump, I hope you wake up on election day and Donald Trump is the fucking president again, because y'all sound like some fucking idiots to me talking about some, I gotta be mad at the guy 6,000 miles away, but I got a guy who I got tangible examples, and I know I'm personal. But I'm saying that everybody there's a lot of people that have personal stories of feeling like they've been ignored or been undercut.
Agreed.
So now these fools get on TV every day talking about he's a criminal, he's done this, he's done that. You got a full 40 page FBI document that says the Speaker of the House, and we talking about innocent till proven guilty. I'm not tripping. But again, the brother who hasn't, we're making excuses for a guilty motherfucker, and we won't get the same redemption to brothers who came home. Them same people, I just think in the grand scheme of the world right now, I remember saying that the Donald Trump voter is the Bernie Sanders voter, right? Same person. I feel like the black looter, and I'm using that as a simple, the black looter is the same thing. The black looter is like, man, bust this system. This shit ain't working for me. It hasn't worked for me ever. And in the premise of, y'all told me to vote, y'all told me to do all this, man, bust this, I'm going downtown, I'm taking my shit. And no, does that person go vote for Trump? No, that person probably doesn't vote. Right. But that's a vote for Trump. Right? I think all of this stuff adds up to him. Every time the guys go out in the street and tear up something, they lose white women in the suburbs. But every time they go out and the police kill somebody, guess what? The Democrats not taking no stance lose that many more of those young people. How many of the people that were looting do you think really care about voting? I don't think a lot. Because what have they gotten from it?
I think they care about it. That's why they mad. Because it's
they don't care.
I think they do.
I think as organized looting as I've ever.
Voting alone and don't seem to be getting the job done. It got to be some voting with some disruption, with some dismantling, with a little bit of pandering mixed with this. Voting alone, protest alone ain't gonna get it done.
You're asking some people who probably have never really been part of the system.
Who's really been
look deeply into it.
So can I say something? Todd, realistically, who really has been a part of the system? We have had that opportunity.
I don't mean at that level. I mean, everybody's part of the system, but they're not leaving their neighborhood to go out and do things. That's what I mean.
If Trump want to impress me with some extra stuff, he should let him vote.
Did I tell you I saw some looters?
He said that
the second day before.
He said man, I want to restore your rights.
Not that man's rights. I'm talking about all of.
But he said
felons.
the same thing in and I don't think it is all of the felons can't vote. In places like Florida, he's I think he's pro returning their right to vote, though.
I'm talking about
he was talking to fundamental Christians
across the nation. If Trump wants to impress me with some redemption, let people who have.
What does Joe Biden need to do to impress you with redemption?
We talking about Trump right now.
Okay, so I'm saying
Trump
I gotta make a vote. I gotta vote. I'm undecided right now, so I'm listening to all the arguments.
Okay.
So and I really don't think Trump is trying to impress you. Right, I think that Trump is not really trying to impress any of us. I think Trump has absolutely is not even making a play for you. I think he is trying to compromise black men.
Yes.
As well as play on a lot of the things that are happening. So now, how does Joe convince me to vote for Joe Biden?
So the only thing that really sways me on over to the dark Democratic side is the fact that we are in a pandemic and the Trump's administration response to the pandemic. I don't think we can do another 4 years of that. If we wasn't in the pandemic, then okay, I'll be like, all right. But really, really, the Republicans saying that if I vote for the Democrats, then I'm messing up the country. The Democrats say if I vote for the Republicans, I'm messing up the country. So no matter who I vote for, I'm messing up somebody's idea of what they think this country should be. So what am I supposed to do? Do I just not vote? Because if I don't vote, then you like, well, you just voting for Trump.
I'm voting for me. I'm not to vote for me. I mean, I love me. Shit. I mean, I'm not saying. So I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, no one is.
What are we supposed to do, man?
Nobody is giving me.
We in a pandemic. Trump denied the pandemic. Like, how he got to give us something more to work with.
Okay. I'm not trying to convince you to vote for Trump. I'm undecided. I'm asking y'all to convince me. I'm saying I'm undecided. You decided.
How can
you are decided?
How can we be undecided for real?
Because I'm gonna tell you once. Can I tell you something?
Please.
I'm gonna tell you. Go back and look on January 25th of 2020. When they said coronavirus, I didn't wait for the federal government to tell me to put on a mask. I didn't wait for. Carrie is not a pandemic person of the world. She was like, don't put that mask on the plane or walk through the airport. Like I said, shit, I'm not taking no chance with my life. I put on a mask. Now, everybody in the world denied it, right? Remember Lori Lightfoot said, come to Chinatown, ain't no problem. This is all, they're blunt. Like,
was that the end of February?
She said that shit in February. Like,
no, I mean when you
it was the beginning of January. The end of January.
End of January, okay.
Right? Because I was wearing a mask before the
I remember you talking about that.
I got pictures, right? And Carrie was so embarrassed. She wrote, "It's not you, it's me" on her mask because she was like, everybody's looking at us like we crazy. Most Americans didn't believe it, right? Honestly, and quite frankly, even when you look at how JB has responded, like, y'all, it's either science or it ain't, motherfuckers. It ain't. It ain't science downstate is different from the science up north. Like, 6 people in a place is 6 people in a place. So and I think when you waffle, right? Now, if all Democratic governors was like, it's hard, straight, and there was no, then I think you got something. I think JB with the pandemic right now, the fact that he told East St. Louis with a 9 that they could still move around, but because he was scared of the people with guns downstate, but told Will County and Kankakee County, y'all can't have no more inside seating, no more restaurants, tells me that you're not, like, the rules are the rules. If the number is 9 is 5%, then anything over 5% is this. Now, if it's not, then you got me, you back to me saying it ain't really science. It's really your opinion, and it's really politics. And this damn pandemic is going to be over.
It's opinion, it's politics.
It's politics.
He's following a rule that all the governors that I know of follow. They're going to yell more. So about, that kind of, what they call things, rights. So, individual rights. So, generally, they kind of let them do more crazy stuff, in my opinion, what I call crazy.
So, I'm okay with y'all. I'm just saying, like, understand, though, that to a rational person, it's the same shit y'all telling me that I got to support Mike Madigan. But Trump is crazy, but I got to support Mike Madigan, right?
Who do you support?
No, I'm not saying you.
Between you and your God.
Right, but again, as the Democrats tell me that I need to, to stand up and fight for Trump, it's like, the guy who literally has his foot on his knee on our neck, like daily. Like we could see it. Like the guy who took 20 floors off of every skyscraper downtown. 25% between him, they crew. They said, as this city builds, we don't care what happens to the people we want 10% of the 25%. So imagine they shaved $250 million off of the Sears Tower sale. To make so they cut us out of 25 million. I mean 250 million, so they can make 25 million. So now we gotta make up in taxes $175 million because Mike Madigan wanted to make 25, and y'all motherfuckers telling me I gotta go worry about Donald Trump and shut up and wait until after the election? Yeah, no.
I just want reparations. I ain't gonna even lie.
So I'm saying. So here's my thing: put reparations in front of Joe Biden.
He gonna say no. Joe Biden ain't going. Bernie Sanders said no. Biden ain't going. Trump ain't going.
So
we need a third.
Let me ask you a question. The third party? I think we should think about third party.
We need a third party.
I think the third party is the black party, right? The black party. Just the same way they do in Canada, right? Where the French Canadians, the French Canadians were a small group. And they were trying to form their party. They never won. So basically now what they are is they play both parties. And they make the decision on who wins. Right? We can't even get past the fact that we ain't even ready to address our issues. Because when a dude say, okay, I'm ready to give out pardons because we want to overturn criminal justice reform, we don't care about that because it's the Mango Mussolini.
Oh.
I feel like y'all be like, let that nigga stay in jail, man. We don't want that pardon from George. He bust that pardon.
It's the context.
He wasn't in jail.
He didn't do nothing.
If
he wasn't in jail.
If he freed the guys,
he went to jail.
Trump ain't freeing the guys.
He didn't go to jail. And so let me ask a question.
But he wasn't in jail when Trump.
So let me ask a question.
He was standing next to him.
So let me ask. Okay, so here, look. So here's our guy, right? Same exact situation. Robs a bank. Goes to jail. Gets out of jail. Says I'm gonna change my entire life, right? Then when it's time for him to run again, because everybody, his parole officer, everybody who was involved, who locked him up, writes a letter, and they go all the way to the governor, a Republican governor of the state of Illinois. And I understand Jim Edgar ain't the same as Donald Trump, but what's different about that situation?
I didn't vote for Edgar either.
Okay, so that's my point though. But that's my point, right? But the brother benefited from that. And like, how much help was that brother? How much did we get from that? I'm thankful for Jim Edgar, right? And I didn't like Jim Edgar.
Wait, you're right. It is very similar because Walter had already, sorry about that, but he already proved that he was an upright citizen, just like John.
That's exactly the point.
An upright citizen, like who is religious, has conservative family values. If Trump want to impress me, free the guys that don't align with you.
Free the guys.
Free the guys.
But don't free the guys. Free the guys. No, don't just free the guys. Free the guys that have said I ain't getting ready to go back and be the guys.
Free the guys.
So you saying there's no criminals in jail?
That's not what I'm saying.
So what guys?
Morgan Freeman said it.
When I say the guys, I'm not talking about the John Ponders.
Who you want free?
The guys.
So I would tell you that the guys are coming home right now.
And then do we have a plan when they come home?
Now whose plan is that? That's Trump's plan too?
I'm talking about the black community.
No, because y'all don't want the guys back.
I just told you I want the guys free.
Okay, so there's some guys that you want free. But I think there's some
the
guys.
warrior class.
Everybody wants somebody.
But all the warrior class is not educated. Right? And I feel like sometimes, and that's kind of how we get this thing where people come home and they trying to return to the warrior class, and the new warrior's like,
we ain't listening to you.
Right. And so I'm saying, like, I think you got to free the guys that are going to be a benefit to the community. Because I think you could free some guys and they might not be the benefit to the community. I think we got to be clear about what is Robin Hood. I think we got this Robin Hood ass complex, and nigga, you wasn't robbing the rich and stealing to the poor. You was robbing the poor and making yourself rich, right? But we can convince ourselves of that. I think, like, the Robin Hood narrative is just convenient for everybody, but I don't think that's the case. Mm-hmm. And so I think when you say that whole premise of he proved himself, like, I think there is a good citizen and a not good citizen. Mm-hmm. I think there are. I think to be I think like the guy, free the guys. No, have the guys made peace with the places that they created havoc in?
Have they had the opportunity?
Are they do they? No, listen. Do they recognize that they caused havoc?
Because the Republicans are fighting against restorative justice.
Do the guys recognize that they caused havoc in their own communities?
That's a good question.
So if the guys don't recognize that they were part of the havoc, mm-hmm. if the guys are like, I was Robin Hood, but no, you were sitting on X number stacks of whatever, and it was being distributed in our community, again, I'm with freeing all the guys if they're going to be positive towards the people. But the guys, if the guys are predators of the people and they left as predators, mm-hmm. and we haven't reformulated them from predators, right, and not predators like sex predators, but like, mm-hmm. I prey on the weaker, mm-hmm. right? And quite frankly, that's probably exacerbated where they go, right? So then when you return, what have you been socialized into? Mm-hmm. So again, I'm not tripping, mm-hmm. but what I'm suggesting is we can't just I just don't believe that. I think that free the guys is a very sweeping statement that mm-hmm. needs to be, if we're going to free them before we say that, then we need to have a plan. Because if you go, no, seriously, we need to have a plan, because you're going to turn mugs who, if I never learn to read, and I go to jail and I never learn to read when I come back, and I rule by force and size and whatever, mm-hmm. guess what I'm going to do?
What you going to do?
Come back and try and pull that same shit. Right. And what I'm going to do is, the second you walk up on me with that and I ain't prepared, mm-hmm. like I'm not on that, I'm just trying to I'm going to up my shit. Mm. Right? I'm not going to, so I think we gotta be real. I just feel like we gotta be realistic with the role that everybody plays. Like we believe in dysfunction as normal. And even when we were talking about I told you, I got a soundtrack playing in my head every time I make a move. Mm-hmm. It was art, life imitating art, mm-hmm. right? Not art imitating life. It was life imitating art, because I was trying to be that guy. Now, as I've moved out of that space, right? I've come into a sense of knowledge of myself. Mm. I don't know if self-education in an institution is enough to integrate you back into society. Ooh. I mean, you have been integrated into a regimented society and you have become institutionalized. And so they have taught you how to operate in that space, mm-hmm. under confinement.
Do you think the Nation of Islam did or does a good job?
I think they did do a good job. I think that I think they did do a good job. I don't know exactly what's happening now, right? I'm not exactly sure where, right? I still go to the mosque and all that stuff for my son's basketball, but I'm not exactly sure.
I think the damaging of their assets set them back 50 years.
Yes, like when they and when they got out of the whole pro-blackness and tried to become orthodox. So I just think when you think about all of these people, Ruthie, mm-hmm. I think we start from the premise that everybody meant us good in our community. I don't necessarily agree with that, right? I don't agree with the fact that everybody, if you never had a grounding and a foundation, mm-hmm. and you were born to be not born, but you were taught to be a predator, mm-hmm. until you, and I don't mean predator in the most, but if I could take it and you can't stop me, right? And you have subscribed to that, mm-hmm. until that becomes unwound, right? You could wind up again putting up. So I feel like we gotta figure that space out, mm-hmm. but I don't think that. I think we have to figure out how to reintegrate people into the community. I agree. Because I think you let somebody out and he kills somebody, and it's like, man, what about the family that now you done dropped them back in the same neighborhood and they got to walk around and see the dude who killed their family?
Or are they going to seek revenge and retaliation?
Like they did on The Chi.
And it's going to keep...
Right. But The Chi, like I hate to use The Chi, but The Chi, Ronnie was that ex-offender, right? The guy who did drugs and all that stuff, and then he found his way and went to church and went to the church. And how many black churches are built on, especially these storefronts, on black dudes that came home from jail and they found God in church and they just trying to find, and they in these storefront churches and they work them all day long and they get them because they was used to working for 10 cents an hour. Right? And so, and then you working at the church just because you want to get away from, you don't want to be in the environment.
Yeah. You want to be integrated into a positive. All right. I got to go.
Okay.
My brain hurts.
It do sometimes. My brain be hurting.
My brain hurts.
Don't you tell me.
Have a possible intern.
Oh, beautiful.
What is a good day next week for an interview, you think, for them to come in for, 2 or 3 consecutive days? It doesn't matter?
No, we're going to be here. Starting next week, I'm here every day, all day.
Okay, so I'm going to send the description and then their resume.
Okay, beautiful. And then can we do a job description and then, like, try and make it so I can give it to Tennille? We can put it out in their social.
For intern, right?
Intern.
Yep. I think we got 2 different ideas of interns. So I know you want social.
I want some hazable interns. So
Here you go.
I'm
trying to get you some
cheesecake.
some Sigmas, some future Sigmas.
Cheesecake Factory.